We're back live inside Staples Center, Game 3, the Kings and the Wings. Of course, Detroit leads 2-0. The first two games back in Detroit. Starting his third straight playoff game is Chris Osgood. He had the shutout in game number 1. 2-0 over the Kings. 5 goals allowed, though, in game number 2. The Kings crashing the front of the net. In goal for Los Angeles, it's a story. Stephane Fiset gets his third straight start. He was pulled in the second period in Detroit. Wasn't happy with his game, especially goal number 5, shorthand side by Chris Draper. Referees tonight, that man Don Koharski is joined by Paul Stewart on the line, Gerard Gauthier and Pierre Racicot. And coming up right now with the play-by-play, game number 3, Bob Miller.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. The crowd is ready. Are the Kings ready to get back in the series? Little delay here before the drop of the puck. And the Kings and the Wings both anxious to get this thing underway, that's for sure. Kings will start out with Bob Corkum. There's Kelly Buchberger. There's Chris Draper. He had a big game Saturday afternoon in Detroit. He'll take the opening faceoff here against Bob Corkum. Kelly Buchberger is lined up against Martin Lapointe, who had the hat trick on Saturday for Detroit. And this game is underway. The Kings win the opening faceoff. Sean O'Donnell tried to give it to Corkum, but it's taken away by Larry Murphy. Murphy for Detroit. Up ahead on the right wing, here is Draper. Then a shot by Lapointe and a save. And covering up is Fiset. So Lapointe fired from the right wing boards and put it right on target.
Well, hockey players, like most athletes, are creatures of habit. This morning on the blackboard, Kings Training Center, here's the itinerary for the day. 10 a.m. the meeting. 10:25 necessary skate. Whoever wants to skate, go out there. Pre-game meeting, pre-game warm-up, of course the game, and then Andy Murray head on the board. 9:41. Series is now 2-1. So he wants to set the tone. He said it this morning. Very confident. The Kings scoring 5 goals in game number 2. They want to keep crashing the net.
Well, I hope he's more right about the outcome than the time the game's going to end. That's the important thing is the series 2-1. Puck comes up to center ice, and Martin Lapointe puts it back in his own zone. Now over to former King Larry Murphy. His pass taken away, but the Kings have to get back on side. Buchberger was in to throw a check at Murphy. Now Bilesma drives it around on the right side. Kings hold it in. In the corner is Buchberger to Corkum. Pass left side. Gary Galley. Galley shoots just wide to the right, and the rebound. Right point held in by Sean O'Donnell for a moment, then kicked away and cleared out to center by Maltby. Red Wings and the Kings changing on the fly. The game just underway. Darren McCarty came in to throw a check at Galley. Here's Ziggy Palffy. Palffy fights his way across the line, runs into Duchesne, knocks him down. Palffy again, can't find the handle on the puck, and it's cleared up to the blue line, and the Red Wings come back to center. Pass ahead now, driven down in deep by Chelios. Back to get it is Rob Blake. Blake and Matty Nordstrom out to start the game defensively. Kings clear it out to center ice. Down the right wing here is Stumple. Stumple across the line. Checked there by Kozlov, who took it away. Kings can't hold it in. Here comes Sergei Fedorov against Nordstrom. Fedorov shoots wide to the right. Rebound off the boards, comes into the Kings zone, and along the left wing side, Stumple had it, but he got hit by Fedorov. Now Fedorov tried to jump around Rob Blake. Blake still with it. Stumple back in to get in the Kings zone. It was giveaways in the first period Saturday afternoon that was the Kings' downfall, and now again the Red Wings try to take it away, and they do. Here is Shanahan, right wing corner, centered in front. Kings break it up, and it's cleared out to center ice. Tipped there by Robitaille. No score here in the first period, and a 2-line pass called here against Detroit. 18:06 to go in the first period. Little shoving going on, but no score so far. Neither team with a great opportunity yet in the game.
No, certainly the Kings hope game 3 is different from 1 and 2. In game 1, do you remember the first shift of the game? That man, Darren McCarty, went in on Gary Galley. Game 3, different story. Galley's ready for it. McCarty's actually the guy knocked off balance, so that's a little bit of a sign. Talking with Andy Murray this morning, the Kings head coach, the one thing he was talking about, Bob, and Andy Murray watched the game last night. Dallas in Edmonton. The crowd was on its feet in Edmonton. They were going, and it's one of the few times where you could really see the direct influence. The Edmonton owners had that one thing on their mind. The tempo was there. They got the puck in deep. They crashed the net. He talked about that. Very important for the Kings to start quick against the Wings.
Hockeyberg is in this game. He's out defensively now with Jarek Karalahti for the Kings. Craig Johnson took it away, tried to center it. Eiserman broke it up, and now Todd Gill has it for the Wings. Gill's past the blue line, taken away, and a shot by Berg, and a save by Osgood. Kings forecheck again, but the puck is chipped off the glass and down into the Kings zone. Here on the right side is Verbeek. Checked there by Aki Berg. Hard into the boards. Puck is taken away by the Kings and cleared out to center ice where Dandino goes back to get it. So Aki Berg in, Yaroslav Modry is out. That's the only lineup change for the Kings here in game 3. Puck comes to Jason Blake. Blake at center ice. He flipped it in. The other King scratches. Steve McKenna, Marco Tuomainen, Nelson Emerson, Jason Podolin, and Modric. Here is Lapointe. His shot blocked and taken by Jason Blake, and he clears it quickly out to center ice.
You see the Kings a little more simpler in their own zone here in the first period. They're not taking time. That simple play, get the puck out of your zone. Don't look for the perfect pass. Chip it off the boards.
Igor Larionov, left side. Now Larry Murphy in the slot. Murphy sent it into the right wing corner, and the puck taken and cleared off the boards and right back out to center ice. 16:51 to go in the first period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox and Bill McDonald. Nice to have you with us. First ever playoff game by any team in this beautiful new Staples Center, the home of the Kings. From center ice, Gary Galley slaps it hard, and it comes up out of play, up into the crowd. Well, Kelly Buchberger joined the Kings late in the year, but he knows how much the home crowd can mean to a team.
I think it comes huge. I think if you watch a lot of the games on TV, you'll watch how energetic the fans are and if the players feed off it. And coming in LA, I've played a few playoff games against LA in the past, and it's been very loud here, and the fans been tremendous. And we expect nothing less from them tonight, and we're ready for them tonight.
Well, they've gotten it so far here at the start of the game. Ziggy Palffy at center ice, checked by Chelios. Puck comes down in deep to Duchesne. Duchesne to Chelios, taken away by Palffy. Palffy behind the net. Chelios spun him around. Robitaille took it away. His pass right side. Shot saved by Osgood. And the whistle blows. The puck was loose, but Osgood had made the save, and the whistle blew.
This is what the Kings want to do. You have McCarty involved, but the crash to the net is the important thing. Bob, if there's any weakness at all, and you talk to anyone around the NHL, certainly the defense of the Detroit Red Wings are experienced, but they're not overly physical. Believe me, they're smooth with the puck. But the Kings get a chance to crash here. Look at Ziggy right in the crease. He doesn't care. Chris Chelios is there. Look at Luke Robitaille come in. Even if it's after the whistle, you want to give Chris Osgood the sense that he's not in control in front. He was very strong right there to make sure the puck did not come loose. But it's certainly in game 2, there were a lot of rebound chances. 4 of the 5 Kings goals in game number 2. You saw the puck right there. It's still bouncing. It never really was covered, but a pretty good job by Palffy. Watch Palffy. He doesn't care. He's going to get run in. Watch Robitaille come in. You want to just make the goaltender feel uncomfortable. And that's what the Kings do right there. They don't get the goal, but they jam at the puck.
Osgood faced 63 shots in the first 2 games. He gave up 5 goals. Red Wings have it in their own zone. Verbeek clears it out to center ice. Now across the line, Steve Duchesne. His pass taken away by Rob Blake. No score first period. Blake up the center ice to Palffy, but off his skate and taken by Shanahan. Shanahan had the first goal of the game on Saturday afternoon in game 2. Puck comes into the Kings zone, and Yzerman and Blake battle for it. Kings dig it out. They get it up to Robitaille. Robitaille, he gives it to Palffy. Palffy across the line. Dropped it back, but offside. Called against the Kings, and then Palffy hit hard by Chelios.
And Shanahan's right there. He's jumped right on top of Palffy, threw a punch on the way up. There was an offside call on the play with Luke Robitaille on the far side. Now Chelios did what he should do. Ziggy Palffy was in a susceptible position. Palffy went down, Bob, as he was trying to make the move. Now Chelios did not hold up. Watch Palffy. Now the whistle will go right about here. It's offside. Now Chelios doesn't really, and Ziggy doesn't give up either. The stick takes Palffy out. Now here it comes. The crash in. Chelios, watch Shanahan get involved. He'll take a push, a punch. There's Stumple from behind, and Shanahan gets right back up. It looks like the only man going to the penalty box right now is Josef Stumple of the Kings. He gets a roughing call as he took down Brendan Shanahan from behind. I'm sure the Kings don't like it from the standpoint of the initial call. Chelios followed through. Again, Bob, I think everyone should have to expect that. We saw that hit. The hit of Josef Stumple coming in from behind. It was directly from behind. There's Chelios. He made the first hit. It was big Brendan Shanahan that was knocked down by Josef Stumple. And that's the reason for the roughing call. You'll see Palffy go in. Again, right now the whistle is gone, so that's why the Kings are upset. The feet taken out from underneath. Now, not the penalty right here, but Brendan Shanahan will become involved. You'll see Shanahan fall forward right there. It's because he was hit by Stumple from behind, roughing against Stumple.
So the Red Wings get the first power play of the night. They were #1 on the power play in the regular season. They are 3 out of 13 in this series. Fedorov shot, knocked down, saved by Fisset. As Fedorov came down the middle and off balance, still put it toward Fisset, and Stefan made the save. So the Red Wings hitting at 23.1% on the power play in this series.
Bob, I mentioned in the open, I think the biggest difference in this series is entry into the offensive zone on the power play. Scotty Bowman, the head coach of the Wings, he has so many gifted offensive players who can skate well, handle the puck, hold on and protect it. There's the best right there, Sergei Fedorov. He's able to get in the offensive zone. Igor Larionov, he's another guy. It's very important to get that puck in the offensive zone. The Wings do it. They don't dump it in. They carry it in, maintain control.
Fedorov had 27 goals during the regular season. Now the Red Wings hold it in. They get it right side. Here's Steve Yzerman. Yzerman back to Nicklas Lidstrom. Shoots, deflected wide. Rebound to Fedorov. Fedorov left side. Put it down in the corner to Verbeek. He banned on his pass, but Thomas Holmstrom has it. He's checked hard there by Nordstrom. Here's Fedorov again for Detroit. Back to the blue line on the power play. Here's Fedorov in the slot. Backhand pass and shot wide to the right. Verbeek got his stick on it, shot it wide. Now down in the right wing corner. Fedorov gives it back to the blue line to Yzerman. He shoots, tipped in front, saved by Fisset. Taken by the Wings again. Fedorov, his pass broken up, and Fedorov again is shot wide to the left. The Red Wing is injured on the play, and the Kings are getting another penalty. They're going to be 2 men short for a minute 5. Who is it, Thomas Holmstrom?
He went down. I think Rob Blake is going to go off. It looked to me like Rob Blake kicked the feet from out from underneath Thomas Holmstrom. That's a huge key in this series. Everyone knows that Holmstrom is going to go to the front of the net, and Holmstrom is still down. I think the term everyone uses is slew foot. You can see the mark on the side of the face. Blake's involved. Blake goes down first. Holmstrom pushed him from behind. Now, Thomas Holmstrom will go right to the front. That's what he likes to do. Watch Rob Blake. A little bit of a push, a shove. Oh, there's the cross check. That's all it was. A cross check right to the side of the head. Right there. There's no doubt about that. Now, Blake certainly was upset that he was taken down the push from behind earlier. Retaliation's going to kill you every time. And Bob, you know how many times they talk about it? Andy Murray has been very vocal about that too. He just basically says, and Andy Murray, you know, he bottom lines it all the time. Andy says unnecessary penalty. Now, Rob Blake was taken down by Holmstrom. Perhaps that should have been a penalty. Again, there's the mark right on the right side of the face of Thomas Holmstrom. He was hit hard by a body check from Rob Blake in game number 1. He was knocked silly. He went down. He got up, down again. He's a tough guy. He goes right to the front of the net.
So the Kings are 2 men short for a minute 5. In the regular season, in a 2-man disadvantage, the Kings allowed 3 goals in 17 times. And they have to come up with a big penalty-killing effort here. There's no score in the first period. We've played 5 minutes of the period, and the Wings have a great chance here, a 5-on-3 advantage. Kings win the draw. Sean O'Donnell's pass, though, not going to clear the zone. Held in by Yzerman. Yzerman sends it over to Lidstrom. Nicklas Lidstrom back to Yzerman, right side to Lidstrom. Lidstrom's got Fedorov in the middle, gives it to Yzerman. Yzerman crisscrosses with Lidstrom, gives it to Lidstrom. He doesn't take the shot. Now his pass, gets it back, right side, Lidstrom in deep again. Fedorov scores! He was right in front of the net, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Red Wings. They score with a 2-man advantage.
Well, you know what's going to happen, Bob. The Red Wings have a strong power play, the best in the NHL during the regular season. They really had it going, and the puck never stopped. 5-on-3, they really didn't plant anyone in front of the net. That's what you do 5-on-4. Fedorov is in front right there, and you saw the one-touch pass by Igor Larionov down to the left. That's so important because Larionov really doesn't stop the puck. One touch, back to Lidstrom. Watch Larionov 8. Doesn't stop it, he just redirects it. And the Kings are spread out in that situation. The 5-on-3, certainly you're going to be outnumbered down low, but the Wings changed their formation. The big guy in front of the net. Wings lead it 1-0.
Now they still have a 1-man advantage. Pass to Shanahan, right wing, shoots, and a save by Fisset. Fedorov gets his 2nd goal of the playoffs. Igor Larionov and Nicklas Lidstrom with the assist at 5:21.
I mentioned the difference, Bob. 5-on-4, they plant Holmstrom or Lapointe in front. Right here, there's really no one in front of Stefan Fisset. Yzerman switches positions right here. You see Lidstrom go this way. That set up the situation with a one-time shot. They didn't use it. Fedorov is right here. He's spinning, turning, again, because that puck did not stop. And Bob, that's a skill element. It takes a lot of skill to redirect and move that puck around without stopping the puck. And if you don't stop it, very difficult for the penalty killers to catch up with the puck. Again, Fedorov wasn't positioning himself in front from the standpoint of creating a screen. He was the extra man. The puck moved around, wide open for the one-timer.
Fourth power play for the Wings and 14 chances in the playoffs, and the Kings clear it this time in the Detroit zone. Still 1:20 left to go on this King penalty to Rob Blake. Red Wings bring it back up to center. Dropped back there by Larionov. Now to the blue line, but met right there by Sean O'Donnell, and Kings clear it back in the Detroit zone once again. Osgood gives it over to Larry Murphy. Kings down 1-0 here in the first period. Igor Larionov dropped it at center ice, but Duchesne had to go back and get it. He gives it to Larionov over to LaPointe. LaPointe to Larionov. His pass tipped off the stick of Duchesne back out to center ice, and the Red Wings have to regroup. 45 seconds left to go on the power play. Wings get it to Larry Murphy. Slaps it hard behind the net. Stopped by Fisset. Fisset leads it there, and it is driven the length of the ice by Sean O'Donnell.
You see the Wings right there, Bob. They're not used to dumping the puck in with a man advantage. They tried to dump it in, nowhere near getting possession. Fisset stopped it. The Kings cleared it.
Kelly Buchberger took it away. Got it to center ice to Nordstrom. He gets it to Carlotti, and the Kings drive it back behind the net, and a penalty against Detroit. Coming up here, Steve Duchesne took Kelly Buchberger down, and the Red Wings get a penalty. Now there's 20 seconds left in the King penalty to Rob Blake. There goes Kelly Buchberger over to the King bench.
Looks like his hand is hurt or either cut. He went down. It was Buchberger that was interfered with by Steve Duchesne. Duchesne kind of clipped Buchberger with his legs. The Kings trying to go in. We isolate Kelly Buchberger. Watch the leg, the right leg. He drops it back. That trips up Kelly Buchberger. Now, when Kelly fell there, something happened to his hand. You see him grab immediately, and he looks into his right hand. To me, it looks like either a finger is out of position, dislocated, something like that. Doesn't look like there's any blood dripping from that. But the tripping, the old slew foot from behind by Steve Duchesne, 4-on-4 for 20 seconds. At that point, the Kings will go on the power play.
Face off to the left of the Detroit net. Osgood, he's had 30 wins for the fourth time in his career. Only two other Wings with more wins in a single season. Terry Sawchuk had 44, and Roger Crozier. Kings get it over on the left side to Aki Berg. Berg checked there by Maltby. Berg in deep. Tried to come back in front, but went off the side of the net, and the Red Wings dig it out. They get it back up to center ice now. Nicholas Lidstrom. Lidstrom across the line. Throws it in, and he's hit hard by Jari Karlotti. Kings bring it back up, and they've got the power play now. Kings with a man advantage, trying to tie it up. Karlotti over to Stumple. Stumple got knocked down. So did Lidstrom. Stumple holds it in. Now Karlotti in front. Robitaille hopped over his stick. Luke was coming down the left side, and the puck hopped over his stick. Back at center ice. Kings with it. Here's Rob Blake. Left side now to Stumple. Stumple in the Red Wing zone. Chased in by Chelios. He and Stumple collide. Puck is picked up by the Kings. And a penalty charging against the Kings, I believe.
Luke Robitaille will go off.
Wow.
Chris Chelios had the puck behind the net, so the Kings, Bob, hurting themselves. The referees told both teams they were going to call this one like a man's game. They thought it was going to be a little tougher, but that one a little too obvious behind the net. A reminder tonight, the last word with Jim Rome. Interesting topic tonight. Jim Rome will discuss the impending return of Braves pitcher John Rocker. So you know Jim Rome always has interesting things to talk about and say. Tonight they'll discuss John Rocker coming back to the Atlanta Braves. The Kings chasing down a loose puck. Watch Luke Robitaille behind. Again, Bob, I think it's where he hit Chris Chelios. It was directly from behind. There's Don Kolarski. He's right there. Luke was gliding into the check, and Luke did not jump up. But how many times have we seen it? When you hit someone square between the numbers, you will get called. And Chris Chelios, you see a little bit of massage right there on the back of the neck. John Wharton is the trainer of the Red Wings. Chelios goes down hard, perhaps that whiplash effect. Robitaille to the box.
Now we have a 4-on-4 skating situation. 1-0 Red Wings lead here in the first period. Puck comes to center ice. Stumple takes it away. Now on the left side, here's Gary Galley. Galley to the blue line. Is shot and a save by Osgood on the rebound. Taken by Stumple, but he couldn't center it back out in front. Picked up in the corner by Todd Gill. Checked by Palffy, but Gill knocked down again by Palffy, and the puck comes out to center. Gary Galley with it in the neutral zone. Galley fires a shot at Osgood. They're putting it right on the target there, and Osgood had to make the save. Red Wings with it. Here's Larry Murphy.
Rob, the knock on Chris Osgood in the past, those easy goals, a lot of long shots, even if the first shot doesn't go in, Osgood is susceptible to kicking out long rebounds, so Gary Galley throwing in the long shots.
At center ice, Glenn Murray back to get it for the Kings, but his pass to Carlotti hopped over his stick, and Carlotti into the corner to get it in the Kings zone. 1-0 Red Wings, first period with 11.5 minutes to go in the period. Here is Aki Berg, sent it across the line. Glenn Murray holding up to stay on side, but the Red Wings start back out. Red Wings are going to have a power play in 2 seconds. Puck comes down into the Kings zone, and 47 seconds on a power play now for Detroit. But we get an icing call, and a face-off coming up with 11:19 to go here in the first period.
Bob, before the series started, we talked about the pluses and minuses for each team, certainly with the Detroit Red Wings. Andy Murray admitted he feels the best team in the NHL. So who do the advantages go to? Well, you look back on Game 1 and Game 2, the offense, certainly you have to give 31 shots to the Red Wings. Defense, you know, is kind of a tie, but the Kings only mustered 19. Specialty teams, well, kind of even. You have to go with the Kings. They killed off 6. Goaltending, dead even. You go into Game number 2, the offense, certainly the Red Wings scored 8 goals. You have to give it right there. The defense for the Kings, you give it to the Red Wings. It was kind of a little bit, not much of an advantage right there with the Red Wings because the Kings really did crash the front of the net. That was their objective going in. And certainly the Kings met that objective by crashing 4 of the 5 goals on rebounds or crashes to the front.
Rob Blake brings it up to center ice. 30 seconds left to go on the penalty, and a long shot by Bilesma. Save made by Osgood. Shots are even now at 5 apiece, but the Wings have a power play goal. Fedorov scored with a 2-man advantage. Lidstrom throws it back behind the King net. Stopped there by Fisset. Put it up on the glass, but Lapointe knocked it down. And a hand pass is called here against Detroit. 12 seconds left to go in the King penalty.
We'll look back at that checklist, Bob. Certainly again, Game 2. The offense goes to the Wings because of the 8 goals. Defense, it was a toss-up, but you give a little advantage to Detroit. Again, the Kings' defense coughed up 3 pucks early in the game. Specialty teams, 3 power play goals for Detroit. The goaltending, Stephane Fisset admitted it was not his best game. He gave up that bad goal number 5 to Chris Draper. So the Wings were favored in most of those areas. Going into the series, we gave an even up with the goaltending because Chris Osgood, yes, he has a Stanley Cup under his belt, but certainly he's known to allow bad goals. Game number 2 was a situation of no big saves early and a bad goal in period number 2.
Here is Steve Duchesne, kicked in the corner by LaPerriere. And the Kings are back at full strength, still trailing 1-0. Wings get it up to center ice. A battle here for it. Loose puck taken right side. Gilchrist, his shot blocked and played by Chartrand. Now the offside called against the Wings. Sean O'Donnell blocked the shot. Chartrand cleared it. Offside Detroit. He'll be back in a moment.
There's a moment in every race.
In every game.
In every 60 minutes. When you can either quit, fold,
Or say to yourself,
I can do this.
I run a rent-a-car company, and we have 14 Hyundai Accents. Customers were always telling me how much they love the Accent. So I test drove one and I bought it. Their 10-year and 5-year warranty definitely shows you what kind of confidence Hyundai has in their vehicles. So I went into the dealership, treated me right, gave me a great deal, walked out of there a happy man. Freedom to me means to be able to go wherever you want without any problems.
The Hyundai Accent comes with the freedom of America's best warranty for only $8,934.
He's in there all year long, screaming and carrying on. Angels, Lakers, even the King. And he's never been on skates in his whole life. And he'll be screaming at the players like he can do it better. Fool.
Now look at the King bench. They are down 1-0 here in the first period. Taking some penalties that have put them down, and Detroit scored with a 2-man advantage. Fedorov from Larionov and Lidstrom at 5:21. Right now, both teams at full strength in the neutral zone. Todd Gill fires it back behind the net. Stephane Fisset gives it around to Sean O'Donnell on the right wing. Sean O'Donnell up to center ice. Fires it hard around the boards here along the left wing side in the Detroit zone. Kings try to get to it. Galley pinches in, but the puck cleared back out to center ice. Taken there by Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell's pass taken away by Verbeek. He runs into Gary Galley right at the King blue line, but Ian LaPerriere is back there to get it. Galley and O'Donnell back. Kings have got Jason Blake, Chartrand, and up to center ice now. The Kings bring it across the line. LaPerriere is the center. He moves in deep, and it's just poked away. And Dandino with a hard check on LaPerriere. And back comes Detroit to center ice. Yzerman across the line. Cuts to the right side. Throws it in behind the net. It comes around to Martin Lapointe. Lapointe checked there by Ziggy Palffy. Lapointe knocked down. Blake gives it to Palffy. Now back up to center ice. Here is Matty Nordstrom into the zone. Nordstrom down the right side. Detroit zone. Pulls up. Fires it in front. Knocked down. Stumple has it. Stumple for the Kings. Right circle. Turns. Shoots. Blocked. Stumple again back to the blue line. Matty Nordstrom takes his time. Robitaille behind the net, walks in front, and a pass is tipped away out the center by a diving Kirk Maltby.
Pretty good coverage by the wings forwards on the Kings defenseman. Matty Nordstrom did enter the zone with speed. Rob Blake's out there, Bob. A lot of close coverage on Rob Blake. The wings trying to take away his shot.
Stumple lost his balance. Here is Draper. Draper's pass up the middle, tipped to the blue line and out to center ice. Puck taken by the Kings again. Long pass intended for Robitaille, taken away. Larry Murphy drops it there for Draper. His shot on a stick save, and the puck comes up out of play. With 8:34 to go in the first period. 1-0 Detroit.
We took one of the 10 best engines in America, improved it, beefed up the horsepower, and actually put it in the Pathfinder. This is a V6 that's got more horsepower than many V8s, which means you can literally go to the ends of the earth. Tow a small barn, blow by a sports car on the Autobahn. Not that you would, but you could. We took one of the 10 best engines in America, improved it, beefed up the horsepower, and actually put it in the Pathfinder. This is a V6 that's got more horsepower than many V8s, which means you can literally go to the ends of the earth. Tow a small barn, blow by a sports car on the Autobahn. Not that you would, but you could.
Well, this isn't a fake, and there is no scientific explanation.
What's happening in your life, Frankie?
This is a warning. I just want my life back.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on Direct TV.
We are back here at the home of the Kings, Staples Center. Face-off will be in the Kings zone to the left of Stefan Fiset. Detroit with a 1-0 lead, and they win the draw. Here's Chelios. He gives it right side to Kozlov. Kozlov shoots. It's deflected by Fiset over the net. And played now by the Kings back in their own zone. Blake, his pass knocked down, but he got it back again. Fedorov tried to take it away. Now Blake's pass up to center ice, broken up by Slava Kozlov. Back into the Kings zone, chased in by Corkum. Corkum's pass to Matty Nordstrom. Nordstrom up to center, slides it over to Smolinski with a long shot save made by Osgood. Osgood stick handles with it. His pass taken away by Smolinski. To the blue line, Carlotti couldn't hold it in. One man back for the Kings. It is Aki Berg. Left side, here's Kozlov. Now Kozlov being checked by Berg. Pass is taken away by Carlotti, and the Red Wings hold it in. Back behind the net. They hang on. Holmstrom looks out in front. He's got a man coming in. Shot hit the side of the net. It was Gilchrist coming down the left side. Now Holmstrom again. Knocked down by Smolinski. Berg steps into Gilchrist. Red Wings stay with it. Here's Gilchrist. Behind the net. Pass in front. Holmstrom fanned on it. Fedorov shoots and a save by Fiset. Rebound knocked away by Fiset on Holmstrom's bid. Again, the Kings don't clear. Holmstrom, left corner. Checked by Smolinski. Gets away. Goes behind the net. Wrap around. Pass comes out to center ice. And a penalty coming up here.
Might be interference on the goaltender. Looks like trying to sneak off on the play. Todd Gill was a defenseman that jumped down low. There was some contact with Stéphane Fiset. I believe that will be the call. So the Wings had control in the zone, grinding down low. The Kings were strong on defense, keeping the puck to the outside. Kings going on the power play.
So the Kings with a chance to tie it up. Say, do you think your sports knowledge is second to none? Then check out Sports Geniuses, the new nightly game show that'll challenge the most knowledgeable of sports fans. Sports Geniuses, weeknights at 6 and 11 p.m. here on Fox Sports Net.
Bobby, you can talk about skill and skating all you want. There's Todd Gill. He goes to the box. Goaltender interference, I believe, is the call. But that last shift was just grind all the way. Smolinski on Holmstrom. A lot of traffic in front of the net. The Kings controlled the Red Wings from the standpoint of not allowing Detroit to the middle of the ice. Again, just as Todd Gill was coming in, a defenseman, he was turning to go and change on the play. He made contact with Stéphane Fiset. That's the reason for the penalty.
And the fans waving the blackout towels here at Staples Center as the Kings get their second power play of the night. They are 0 for 1, and in the series, they are 0 for 10. New Jersey and Florida, the other two teams who do not have a power play goal in this year's playoffs. Kings bring it across the line. Thrown back around the left side toward Robitaille. Knocked down by Gary Galley. Robitaille, his pass to Stumple. Stumple bats it over now to Palffy. Here's Ziggy Palffy on the right side of the blue line to Blake. Left side to Galley. Gary Galley shoots. Tipped wide. Rebound. Blake holds it in. Blake's pass to Ziggy Palffy. Palffy on the right side. Back to Galley. Left side. Galley shoots wide. Rebound back toward Palffy. He didn't get it. Yzerman had it tipped away by Blake. Palffy. His pass taken away, and the Red Wings bring it back up to the neutral zone, and it's cleared by Nicklas Lidstrom.
A lot of maneuvering there, Bob, by both teams. Pretty good cross passes. Blake to Galley to open things up. Josef Stumple, the Kings trying to set picks right in the middle of the box to give more time for the Kings to get shots on goal.
Wings take it away from behind as sent off by Maltby on the right side to Chelios, and he finds a spot and clears it back behind the King net with 53 seconds to go in the Red Wing penalty.
Bob, you just mentioned the Wings coming in from behind. That's an important part of the game plan for both teams. You limit space, you limit time, you back check very hard, closing the gap from behind.
Smolinski, right side, slaps it hard around the boards. Left side to Robitaille. Luke's pass in deep, taken by Smolinski, but he wheeled it up the middle, and it's intercepted by Detroit. Back to center ice. Sent down the left side toward Duchesne, cutting in. His pass up the middle, tipped away by Aki Bergen. Back on the Kings. 25 seconds to go in the power play. Jason Blake to Craig Johnson, but he didn't get it to Larry Murphy. Clears it back out to center. Kings back to pick it up, but Chris Draper jumps on it for the Red Wings. And now Duchesne clears it back into the Kings zone. 8 seconds up to go in the power play. Here's Matty Nordstrom. Kings are down 1-0. Nordstrom drives it into Detroit zone. In front, Jason Blake shoots, and a save by Osgood. Great chance for the Kings. Jason Blake right in front. Osgood with a save. Here's Nordstrom. Shoots wide. And the Red Wings are back at full strength. Brad Chartrand for the Kings in the Detroit zone. Chartrand right side. Put it back behind the net. He was trying to hit Jason Blake. Taken away and chopped out to center ice. Kings bring it back in, but offside is called. So the Kings' best chance of the night went to that man, Jason Blake. But Osgood made the save.
Why is it that no matter where you are in the world, there is always a place for people to come together? When you think about it, it's simple. Humans are a social bunch. We need each other. That's why we are doing what we can to make it easier for the human race to stay united.
¡Ay, caramba!
Introducing new hot and spicy wild chalupas.
Ay, ay, ay.
New hot and spicy wild chalupas. Just 99 cents for a limited time.
It's wild.
Only at Taco Bell.
Gail?
Elaine, how wonderful to see you.
So how's that handsome son of yours?
Just terrific. He's in criminal law. And how about you? I hear you're newly married.
Oh, yes, Vincent. He's fabulous.
Around here, things aren't always what you'd expect, like the Mercedes-Benz M-Class. It costs a lot less than you'd think.
Big part of the Kings' game plan forced the Detroit Red Wings defense to move the puck before they're ready. The Kings dump it in. They get pressure with LaPerriere. Lidstrom's there right to the middle. Jason Blake goes to the backhand. Watch Chris Osgood. Stayed with him every inch of the way. Just dove with the glove hand, the glove arm to make the save.
Now Nordstrom drove it in the Detroit zone. Tipped away over to Sergei Fedorov, who's lost his helmet. Puck comes up to center ice. Jason Blake takes it away. 4:35 to go here in the first period. Kings are down 1-0 on a Detroit goal with a two-man advantage by Sergei Fedorov. Osgood puts it back behind the net. Slava Kozlov's pass to Matthew Dandino. Dandino checked there. The puck is loose. Right side, Chartrand going for it. Todd Gill tipped it away up to Kozlov. He couldn't clear it. It was held in by Blake. Rob Blake down the corner now. Kings hold it in. LaPerriere to Chartrand. Chartrand checked in the corner by Todd Gill. Chartrand and LaPerriere for the Kings. Wings back off a little bit. Kozlov tried to pick it up. Now Gill has it. LaPerriere steps into him. Rob Blake couldn't hold it in offside. Called against the Kings. Bilesma threw it down in deep, but the whistle had blown due to the offside. The Kings on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by Dodge. In a perfect world, everything would be different. By Taco Bell, proud sponsors of the Los Angeles Kings telecast. And by Supercuts. Call 1-800-SUPERCUTS for a store near you. Supercuts, as hip as you want to be.
Well, Bob, the Kings' fourth line is the energy line. There's Brad Chartrand. I talked to him yesterday at practice. He said before this series, his role was explained very clearly. Create energy in Game 2, and to start Game 3, they've done a great job. Not only, Bob, defensively and just running around, they've had the puck quite a bit, a lot of puck possession in the offensive zone.
Gary Galley back behind the King net. Now over to Sean O'Donnell, up to center ice. Kings jump on it there. Here's Ziggy Palffy, 2 goals last game. His pass to Bilesma went off his stick and taken there by Verbeek. A nice play by Sean O'Donnell at center ice to take it away, and Gary Galley flips it in the Detroit zone. Duchesne tries a pass off the boards that was held in by Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell in front, and Bilesma can't get a shot. Now he throws it back in front, and it's intercepted there by Shanahan. Up to Verbeek, now to Yzerman. Yzerman across the line to Verbeek. His shot, save made, and the rebound. Shanahan drives it in front. Boy, that was one that almost fooled Stefan Fisset.
Shanahan just decided, Bob, he didn't have an angle. He didn't have anyone cruising through the middle. Just throw it to the front, hoping for a deflection in behind Stefan Fisset.
2:58 to go in the first period. Game 3 of the series. Detroit leads it 2-0. Rob Blake back in to get it. Over to Nordstrom, now to the blue line. Here's Craig Johnson. Johnson, he's got a goal in this series. His pass across the line, broken up, and played by the Kings. Craig Johnson, the Red Wings would have been offside if they touched it. They let it go, but they get it back again at center ice, and Maltby fires it behind the net. Rob Blake over to Nordstrom. 2.5 minutes to go in the first period. Matty Nordstrom in deep. Kings have been outshot 9-7 here in the first period. Joseph Stumple, his pass, right side, shot by Murray, and it's wide. Rebound off the boards, back out to center. Glenn Murray just kind of hiding in the weeds over there on the right wing.
Great pass by Joseph Stumple, Bob. The Wings had 4 men in the neutral zone, really clogging it up right there, but the hard pass by Stumple right on the stick. Murray allowed to get the shot.
Robitaille's pass taken at center ice by Palffy to Stumple. Stumple shoots, and it's deflected up out of play into the crowd. 2 minutes exactly to go here in the first period.
Well, the last shift, we had chances at both ends. First, it was Dan Bilesma. Chris Osgood, the goaltender, did a great job. Kings keep it in. Bilesma gets it. Watch Osgood. He goes out across and tries to get as close as possible. That delayed Bilesma. Chelios able to get back and lift his stick. You go back to the other end. You mentioned that play. Verbeek gets it in deep. Here's the redirection right off the stick of Gary Galley. It's a changeup. Look at Fisset. He's already made his move, but he was able to regroup, get his body underneath him, and make the stick save.
Now taking it center ice. Kings with it. Ziggy Palffy throws it down into the right wing corner. Bill McDonald will be interviewing one of the Kings at the end of this period. Puck comes around the right side. Good check by Palffy on Gilchrist, but Fedorov steps in to take Palffy out. Here's Stumple. Stumple checked by Fedorov. Puck comes to Gilchrist, and he chips it out to center ice for Detroit. Rob Blake back to get it. Over to Matty Nordstrom. Off the board, split out of the reach of Robitaille at center ice. And Nordstrom took a hard hit from Darren McCarty. Puck comes back into Nordstrom. Nordstrom back behind the King net. Pass off on the right side and tipped up out of play. Shanahan was over there looking for it, and it Came off O'Donnell's stick up into the crowd. Whether our limited playoff tickets still available for the Kings and the Red Wings in Game 4 of this series. It'll be Wednesday and then Sunday, if necessary, April 23rd. Tickets are available at Staples Center box office, all Ticketmaster outlets, and by phone by calling that number 213-365-3600. Definitely, we'll be back here on Wednesday night, hopefully on Sunday. Faceoff will be in the King zone, and Jason Blake back to get it. That Sunday game would be a noon start here. Pass over to Chartrand. Tipped away from him in front of the penalty box. He sends it in the Detroit zone. 1:10 left to go here in the first period. Jason Blake trying to take it away, but Shanahan had it, and he got it over to Lidstrom. Nicholas Lidstrom starts back to center to Larry Murphy. 1 minute to go here in the first period. Detroit has a 1-0 lead. Puck comes in to Sean O'Donnell. He gets it to Gary Galley. Now Galley's pass up the center ice, but it went behind Chartrand. Larry Murphy flips it back up in the air, and Galley knocked it down right to Lidstrom. Nicholas Lidstrom with a nice move. Now to Yzerman. Yzerman had it taken away by O'Donnell. And Chartrand clears it back up to center. Jason Blake took a swing at it, didn't get it. 35 seconds to go in the first period. Here's Kirk Maltby for Detroit. Maltby around Galley, shoots, and a save by Fiset. Nice move by Maltby, and Fiset came up with a big save. Here now is Rob Blake in front of the King bench. 21 seconds left to go in the first period. Pass to the Red Wing line. Swiping at it there is Bilesman. Now he sends it in deep. Picked up by Duchesne. He's checked by Kelly Buchberger. Puck cleared back to the King line. 8 seconds left to go. Pressure now by Draper. Kings trying to get away. Nordstrom got it out to center ice. Draper gets hit there, and that's the end of the first period. Only one goal. It came with a two-man advantage for Detroit on the power play. Fedorov is second of the series from Larionov and Lidstrom. We'll be back. Bill McDonald will interview one of the Kings right after this. Here on Fox Sports Net, we take you inside the Kings dressing room. They're getting set to come out for the start of the second period. They're down 1-0 to the Detroit Red Wings. And now time to give you our Toyota trivia question and answer. Who tied a Stanley Cup record with 6 game-winning goals during the 1999 playoffs? That was last season. It was Joe Nieuwendyk. He had 6 game-winning goals for the Dallas Stars in 1999 as they won the Stanley Cup. Well, the Kings are not only up against the Detroit Red Wings, they're up against the winningest coach ever in hockey history, and he has 202 wins in the playoffs. That's Scotty Bowman. And Andy Murray had this comment on matching wits with Scotty Bowman.
I don't know if it's possible to match wits with Scotty Bowman. When you look over at him on your left side, he's on the Detroit bench there, and it's kind of a nice feeling to know that he's kind of looking at you, watching what your changes might be, and maybe following what your team would do. But Scotty's just an outstanding coach, and I look forward to the challenge.
And Bob, when you talk about Scotty Bowman, there's always that mystique. Does he control the referees? Does he talk? There's Scotty coming in. Does he control other things? Of course, in Detroit, there was the construction at the Kings Hotel, and everyone's saying, hey, I saw Scotty with a hard hat in the lobby. He's controlling that. Yesterday at practice, I was talking with Dave Lewis, assistant coach, and I told him, I said, hey, Dave, we landed the other night in Los Angeles. It took us a half an hour. We were delayed on the ground for a half an hour at LAX before we could get to our gate. Scotty Bowman overheard that, and he said to me, you know what, only half an hour? I told the airport officials to make it a whole hour. That wasn't the case. But everyone talks about Scotty Bowman and the mystique and things of that. And certainly, if he has that doubt in your mind, it's always back there. And, he uses it to his advantage.
But I heard at the Red Wing Hotel, they had a power outage, and they also had some construction over there near their hotel. So they may have been blaming Andy Murray for that. I don't know. Second period just about ready to get underway with the Detroit Red Wings out in front 1-0, and at center ice it's Corkum against Draper, and Draper wins this draw. Back into Chelios, and he flips it high in the air. Both teams are at full strength. Puck is cleared to the blue line, but knocked down there was Corkum. He got knocked down by Duchesne. Here is Kelly Buchberger. Sends it in the Detroit zone. Broken up by Martin Lapointe. Flipped it high in the air, and Gary Galley had to wait for it to come down, and Draper was coming by him trying to get to it. for the Red Wings back of their own blue line. Pass taken away by Corkum. Corkum's pass taken away by Chelios, and he slaps it in wide as it bounces into the corner. Played in the Kings zone, up along the boards. Red Wings Kirk Maltby there, but Kings take it away. Second period just underway. Maltby gets it back again. Maltby backhands it in deep. Boy, the Red Wings get on that puck, and I'll tell you, they have the knack of staying with it. Cleared back up to center to Palffy. Back comes the Red Wings. Fedorov to take it away.
Bob, you never feel comfortable on the ice with the Red Wings. Of course, in Game 2, 3 giveaway goals by the Kings in the first period. That's just attributed to the speed of the Red Wings. Even when you do have time, you don't think you have time. You throw the puck away.
Now the Kings back in to get it. Here's Rob Blake. He sends it around to Robitaille. Robitaille back to Blake. Fedorov stepped into Robitaille, and Blake waits behind the net, but Slava Kozlov into forecheck. Kozlov gets knocked down. Puck comes up to center ice to Stumple. Stumple to the blue line. Stumple in the slot. Right wing pass. Played off the boards by Palffy. Palffy got spun around. Puck is sent left side. Here's Nordstrom. Nordstrom put it back around on the right wing side. Kings Robitaille to Stumple. Stumple up the middle, and he couldn't get it to Palffy. It was tipped away back into the Kings zone. A quick pass by Fisset. Up to Blake. Blake ahead across the line. Palffy in front. Shoots. Saved by Osgood. Great save by Osgood as Palffy made his favorite move and got stopped. Right side, Verbeek with a shot and a save by Fisset. The Kings' best chance of the night. Now taken by Todd Gill, but he overskated. He was being checked from behind. Puck is held into the blue line by Yzerman. Over now on the right side to Verbeek. Verbeek to Shanahan. Shanahan knocked it down. He gives it to Yzerman. Yzerman checked by Craig Johnson, and puck kicked into the corner. Shanahan to Verbeek, and his shot hit a skate. Kings take it away. Back they come to center ice. Stumple leads it down the right side, trying to hit Glenn Murray, taken away by Dandino. Dandino's pass to the blue line, held in by Aki Berg. Red Wings get it back again, though, and it's cleared by Dandino. Boy, Palffy had a great chance, and I mentioned that's his favorite move coming through the slot, and Osgood came up with his best save of the night.
Bob, the second half of the season, the Kings really worked on quick transition. Not many teams in this league can beat Detroit at that game, going the other way quickly. The Kings did with Ziggy Palffy getting in behind. It was a nice pass up, right on the stick, and then Ziggy Palffy had that favorite move. Outside in, he goes from his backhand to his forehand. The passer on the play is Rob Blake. Look at that. One look up the middle, good support on the play. Outside in, stays on his forehand. Look at the pad save by Chris Osgood. Great positioning by the Red Wings goaltender. He stayed right there. Another look. Palffy does a great job coming to the passer, but then at all times there, the Ziggy Palffy stays on his forehand. He only has to have one touch on his backhand making that move, and that move fools so many defensemen. That time, though, didn't fool the goaltender. Osgood making the pad save.
Steve Duchesne in his own zone. He was with the Kings last year, didn't work out. Here's Larionov, sends it across the line. Puck is taken to center ice, but taken right away again by Larionov. Shoots and a save and a rebound to Gilchrist, and he couldn't get a shot. And the puck covered up by Fisset. Holmstrom was right in front.
You won't see that too often. Igor Larionov got over the blue line and took the shot. Holmstrom was trying to crash. Galley was there with O'Donnell, so the Kings preventing penetration. No second chance. Fisset coming up on the rebound.
Well, a lot of the fans here at Staples Center tonight had season seats, and they had the first pick of the playoff seats. Well, Kings fans, it isn't too early to start thinking about next season's season seats. You get the same great seat for all home games and the Stanley Cup playoffs. For more information, call right now, 1-888-KINGS-LA. Faceoff will be to the right of Stefan Fisset. Sergei Fedorov has the only goal of the game, a power play with a two-man advantage for Detroit. Larionov and Lidstrom with the assists. Wings win the draw. Duchesne left point, shoots. Save made by Fisset. Got his right leg out. Now Jason Blake tried to clear it. Held in the right point, tipped in front. Save made on the tip by Draper, and the puck cleared to the blue line. Held in by Duchesne. Now along the right wing boards, it's cleared up in the air and chased down by Jason Blake, but we have a two-line pass called here against the Kings.
Jason Blake trying to use his speed out there. He had a pretty good back check just on that last Red Wing chance, and that time going forward. I talked with Jason also yesterday at practice. There's Jason right there. He's trying to get things. The one thing he did, Bob, in game 2, You know, it's that mind game. After every shot the Kings had with Jason Blake on the ice, he just stood right in front of Chris Osgood. Even after the whistle, he didn't turn around, didn't go for the face-off. It's just playing that mind game. You're trying to just show the other team you're not going to back off. You just kind of hang in there. It's going to cost you a cross-check in the back, maybe a push to the back of the head, but that's the way Jason plays the game, and I thought his line was very effective. Osgood, the knock on him again is that traffic in front, trying to get underneath his skin, trying to get him mentally off his game.
And Jason Blake had a pretty good chance in the first period here, but got stopped by Osgood. Now Rob Blake for the Kings. 16:27 to go in the second period. 1-0 game, so we've reverted back to the way these two teams played in game one in Detroit, which was essentially a 1-0 game. They got an empty net goal, so the official score was 2-0. Then the wide-open, high-scoring game in Game 2. Wings across the line. Fedorov, his shot blocked, and a penalty coming up here. Penalty coming up. The Red Wings have it, and I think he got the wings.
Darren McCarty will be going off. He doesn't like to call. I don't necessarily blame him, Bob. He was wrapped up along with Luc Robitaille. Looks like unsportsmanlike conduct also. Maybe a double minor against McCarty.
Don't you wish everything was as dependable as a Chevy? Right now, you can find these offers on Chevy cars. Get $1,500 cash back on a Chevy Camaro V6 and act before April 30th and get $1,750 cash back on a Cavalier Coupe or sedan. So, want a car you can depend on? See your Chevy dealer today. Chevy. We'll be there.
It is the double minor, tripping and unsportsmanlike conduct. The Wings were trying to enter the zone. They dumped a puck in. Luc Robitaille was wrapped up with Darren McCarty on the far side. Scotty Bowman doesn't like it. The infraction happened right in front of the Red Wings bench. Both guys were locked up. It looked to me, Bob, at first that Luc Robitaille hooked McCarty, but at the end, McCarty came through. Robitaille went down, so the Kings go on the power play. Double minor, 4-minute penalty.
Kings are 0 for 2. They've got to take advantage of these power plays. They're down 1-0. Long shot from center ice by Lidstrom. Easy save there for Fassé. 4 minutes to work on the man advantage now and tie the game and possibly take the lead. Robitaille throws it in. Red Wings take it away, and it's cleared by Chelios. Back to the King line. Now Robitaille. Robitaille's pass right in front of the King bench. Gary Galley drives it in. Red Wings stop it behind the net. Here's Chelios. Quick pass right by Galley and back into the Kings zone.
So the Kings have to dump it in to gain entry in the zone. Many times, Bob, that means only you're going to get the puck about 50% of the time. That's kind of an automatic because the Wings get back. Osgood stops the puck. The Kings will try to do a better job carrying the puck in the offensive zone.
Blake drives it back behind the net. Osgood stops it there. He plays it up on the glass. And it wears along the right wing boards and get a whistle out of there. I think it may have hit the linesman at first. And
that's exactly what happened. There is Pierre Racicot talking things over with Chris Chelios. Osgood was able to get out of the net, stop the puck cleanly. The dump in by Rob Blake came right from the red line, so that gives Osgood a lot of time to go out behind the net, stop it. That's what the defenders want to do. You want to get your goaltender to touch it up, stop it, and have a defenseman pick up that puck.
Kings have got Glenn Murray, Smolinski, and Craig Johnson up front. Karolahti and Berg back of the points. Face-off in the Red Wing zone. And the face-off won by Draper to Chelios. Glenn Murray quickly over to try and take it away from Maltby. Maltby checks him. Smolinski gets it to Berg. Berg to Karolahti. Karolahti shoots wide. Tipped up in the air and into the crowd.
Well, the Kings trying to get things going. Craig Johnson was positioned in front along with Chris Chelios, so the battle continues there. Now look at that last dump, and you see Rob Blake, he's right at the red line when he dumps the puck in. Kings try to get pressure. Watch Osgood. Because there's so much time and space there, he has all kinds of time to get out, stop the puck. Goes along the boards. This is where it hits the linesman. Right there, Chris Draper just holds on to create the faceoff. The puck is on the ledge. If possible, Bob, the Kings have to do a better job on the dump in. Really ring it harder along the boards. That time there was too much of an angle. When it goes in on the angle, it slows down the puck. That allows the goaltender to stop it behind the net.
Smolinski wins the draw to Karolahti. Now to Hockey Berg. Berg in his first playoff game this season. Puck comes down along the right wing side and taken away by Fedorov. He stole it from Craig Johnson. Fedorov to the blue line. Skates it back. Killing time on the penalty. Gives it to Larry Murphy, and he drives it wide to the King net. 2:35 to go in this double minor to Darren McCarty. A great chance for the Kings to tie it up. Carlotti to center ice, lost the puck there. Here's Yzerman looking for a short-hander. And can't get a shot, but he still has the puck. To Duchesne. Duchesne checked and it's taken away, and the Kings get it up to Craig Johnson. Now to Smolinski. Smolinski to the blue line. Tipped away by Yzerman.
There's that speed being very effective right there in the penalty kill. The Wings, look at Shanahan way up the ice. The Wings are so confident that even if they pressure the puck way up the ice, they're still going to have the speed as a unit, a four-man unit, to get back and play some defense.
Now the Kings bottled up again by Draper. Kings now have 1:55 to go in the power play. Pass ahead, cutting in is Palffy, shoots, saved by Osgood. Palffy didn't get the shot he wanted. He was pressured from behind, and Osgood makes the save.
But that is the game-breaking ability of Ziggy Palffy of the Kings. The Red Wings took the chances up the ice. Carlotti makes the pass. Watch Palffy, doesn't slow down, picks up the pass at the same time. Nice reach in right there by Lidstrom. He really did a good job handcuffing Ziggy Palffy. Coming right at you, Osgood has to stand there. Ziggy really never did get the shot off, but it was a pretty good transition there by the Kings. Look at the stick right there in the hands, and that's not a hook. Lidstrom only has one hand on his stick. That's a great example of a defenseman right there. You see Ziggy trying to go in, leaning to the inside is Lidstrom, neutralizing the play.
To Galley, to Blake, shoots wide, rebound tipped away behind the net by Osgood. Robitaille was trying to get there, and Osgood tipped it away, and the Wings clear it back into the Kings zone.
Kings get what they want right there. They have Rob Blake on the one-timer. It doesn't happen too often. That time, Bob, obviously, with the offensive zone face-off, so important. The Kings win the draw, get the shot by Blake.
Here's Rob Blake. Blake had to reach out for it. Kings stay on side. Backhand pass into the corner to Robitaille. Robitaille to Stumple. Stumple checked there by Chelios. Wings have it, taken away by Palffy. But the Wings get it back, and Maltby backhands it out to center ice and over the stick of Galley. Pass by Fisset to Galley with 1:10 to go in the power play. Kings down 1-0. Here's Stumple trying to get around Chelios. Chelios goes down. Into the corner comes Lidstrom. Now it's behind the net. Puck comes into the right wing corner. Pinching in is Jari Carlotti. Carlotti gets spun around. Carlotti protects the puck. Still has it. Now to the blue line. Here's Palffy. Left side. Kings don't get a shot yet. Now in front to Robitaille, but tipped wide. Taken by Carlotti. Carlotti's pass back on the left side to Gary Galley. Galley down the corner. Galley's pass back to the right point. Carlotti's got some room. Carlotti sends it up the middle. King still with it. Stumple's shot knocked down. He holds it in. Now his pass tipped away. Red Wings with it and cleared to center ice.
Chelios so aggressive on that penalty kill, Bob. He's a defenseman, but he chased that puck all the way to the blue line. Rob Blake does that many times with the Kings. Chelios effective, never backing off.
It's thrown in by Carlotti, but the Red Wings take it away, and it's cleared again, this time by Shanahan to center ice. 15 seconds to go in this 4-minute power play for the Kings. They're down 1-0. Robitaille slaps it behind the net. Osgood stops it there. Flipped it back along the boards. Robitaille took it away. Tried to center it, but it hit Shanahan, and the Red Wings are back at full strength. The Kings get one shot with 4 minutes on the power play. One shot on goal, and they still trail 1-0. Red Wings have it. They've got Shanahan right in the slot. Shanahan tipped it, and Larionov gets a shot. Save made by Fisset. McCarty couldn't hang on, and the puck cleared to the blue line and up to center ice. Here's LaPerriere. Cross ice pass to Jason Blake. Blake lost it back out to center ice. 11:35 to go here in the second period. Matty Nordstrom drives it in. Flipped along the boards by Osgood. Taken there and up to center ice. Lapointe gets it to Larionov. Larionov had Gilchrist hold up at the blue line. Kings back in to get it. We're in the second period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox and Bill McDonald. Here on Fox Sports Net tonight, Game 3 of the series, and the Red Wings have a 2-0 lead. Here is Brent Gilchrist in the slot. Over to Lapointe, his shot blocked. Rebound. Kings pick it up. Back they come to center ice. To the blue line. Pass down the right side. In deep is Jason Blake. He got it from Chartrand. Blake checked in the corner, and the Red Wings back in to get it. Blake being held there for a moment now at center ice. Long drive into the Kings zone by Todd Gill. That was Martin Lapointe and Jason Blake back behind the play. Kings come back to center. Pass on the left side. Across the line now. In deep, a pass that hit the side of the net. And Bilesma now to Kelly Bookberger. Bookberger back into the corner to Bilesma. Bilesma trying to get away from Larry Murphy. Bilesma rolled it up the middle. Kings hold it in, but now the Wings get it back. Carlotti flipped it in, but Kozlov Brought it back to center, and he gives it over to Larry Murphy, and Murphy flips it in deep.
A lot of tempo in this game, a lot of speed, Bob, but at the same time, very few rush chances. Neither team able to get an outnumbered attack, neither team able to get speed through the zone. They're still skating. The puck is being moved very quickly, but unable to penetrate into the zone with a lot of speed. If you don't do that, very difficult time getting those quality chances.
Rob Blake steps in front of Yzerman. Gives it over to Matty Nordstrom. He gets hit hard. Nordstrom still battling and behind the King net. Sent around to the left point, but held in by Duchesne with a shot. Tipped wide, and the Red Wings on it again in the King zone. Here is Shanahan. He gives it to Yzerman. Yzerman checked by Blake. And a penalty to the Kings. Stumple cross-checking on Shanahan. So the Red Wings go on the power play with a 1-0 lead.
Hey, how'd it go at the bank? Jim, the car loan. Did we get it?
How about a home equity loan?
At Bank of America, we get to know you.
Jim, honey, what's this?
We ask questions.
Car?
Right. So why not a car loan? Well, are they all out of car loans?
Then we find financial solutions that fit you.
Actually, we have plenty of equity in the house, and we could get this thing called a tax break. I mean, where is the trust?
Bank of America. Let's talk.
Hang on a sec, this could be him.
Gloria, this is Mrs. Roberts, your mom's friend. Oh, my Eugene just moved to the city. I'm so proud of him. He's 31. It's his first apartment. He just got his PhD in entomology. You know, bugs. I was thinking that the two of you should really go out. Maybe a nice dinner. But he has to stay away from cheese. He's lactose intolerant. What a guy he is, and what a dancer.
Your mom's friends. Another reason to get call waiting ID. Know who's calling before you click over.
Pacific Bell. The phone is, once again, your friend.
They wanted to recreate Venice. So they called in Sempra Energy to develop a heating and cooling system that would control the climate for virtually an entire new city. All of which makes for a far more comfortable gondola ride next time you're in the middle of the desert. The Venetian Casino Resort in Las Vegas. Thanks to Sempra Energy, it's a cool place to be.
The only goal of the game was a two-man advantage goal by the Wings in the first period on the power play. They get a chance here, cross-checking the call against Stumple along the boards. Josef Stumple's argument here is that he didn't have the jerking motion. You'll see the push and another push. I think Stumple's argument is no time did he back off and crack forward with the arms. It was more of a push up the back of Shanahan. Shanahan gets right back up, but the referee, Paul Stewart, calls cross-checking. Wings on the power play.
Face off in the King zone. The Wings have it. Here's Steve Yzerman. Yzerman setting up the power play now. His pass down in deep, and in front was Verbeek, and his shot wide. Taken by Holmstrom. He's checked there. Behind the net, Fedorov. Back up the middle. Left side shot. Save made on the shot from the blue line by Yzerman. And the puck comes around to Matty Nordstrom. Can he clear? Nope. Held in. Boy, that gives you such an advantage. Lidstrom holds it in. He sends it back on the right side on the power play. Fedorov back to Lidstrom. Nicholas Lidstrom back on the right side. Wings hanging on. Lidstrom again. Gives it to Fedorov. Fedorov back into Yzerman. To Fedorov. One-timer. Save. Rebound up the middle. Taken away by Corkum. And he clears it on target. Save made by Osgood.
Big save by Pisse, Verbeek, and Holmstrom in front. It was a screen shot. The Kings able to make sure there's no second chance. Pisse with a save. Kings defenseman clear the zone.
Gary Galley gets knocked down. Penalty against Detroit. Charging the call by referee Paul Stewart.
Will go off. Paul Stewart was the back referee. He made the call on the play. A little bit too much force on the check. LaPointe coming a long way to meet up with Gary Galley. A reminder, coming up next on Fox Sports Net, the National Sports Report. You can check out all the day's action in the port. In sports today, the Net Show will recap sports from a new, fresh perspective. Check it out immediately after our game, the National Sports Report. Tomas Holmstrom in front of the net. Look at it right there. The backside right in the face of Stefan Pisse, going back and forth. That's his job. And the Wings did able to get a shot on the play. Now, the Kings don't want to lock up right there. I talked with Stefan before the series. He says the Kings defenseman can't get locked up. with Holmstrom, because all that does is provide a two-man screen instead of a one-man screen. Right after that play, Gary Galley was behind the net for the Kings. Lapointe came in, charging the call, 4-on-4 skating.
Jim, I think a lot of people would have looked at that and said, why doesn't Rob Blake just crank that guy and get him out? So a good explanation there that Stefan does not want that. He wants to be able to see the puck more clearly.
It's easier to see the puck with only one man standing in front of you instead of two men. And also, if you get locked up with that man in front of the puck, then there's only three men that can move around and perfect the passes of the Red Wings. So you just got to leave him there and hope the goaltender finds the puck.
This is a 4-on-4 skating situation. Igor Larionov to Steve Duchesne. Up the middle of Larry Murphy. Murphy back over to Kozlov. Kozlov checked by Aki Bird. Puck taken by LaPerriere. He bats it with a glove, which is legal in the defensive zone, to a teammate. Bird, 2-on-2, down the right side. Here is Kelly Buchberger with a backhander save made. Buchberger again. Got his own rebound back behind the net, protecting the puck. Now tipped away by Duchesne out to center ice. Kings are going to be on a power play in 3 seconds. And they have it now, and the Kings are on the power play for a minute 1. Pass up to center ice. Here comes Stumple. Stumple to the blue line. Tried to come down the middle. Tipped away. Red Wings bring it back to center. Draper with Maltby. Pass over to Maltby. Maltby tried to jump around Gary Galley. Maltby down in deep. He gets it over to Chris Draper. Draper had a couple of goals in the last game, but the Kings take it away, and here comes Robitaille. Robitaille to center ice. He slaps it back behind the net. Osgood had a little trouble with it. Palffy came in to try and get it. Now Stumple came into the corner. Puck is batted free and taken by Blake at the blue line. Blake pulls it in. Left side, Gary Galley. Galley to Stumple. Stumple in front and right behind Ziggy Palffy. Now Robitaille chasing it down. Robitaille along the right wing boards. Back to the blue line to Rob Blake. Blake turns. He shoots. Saved by Osgood. Rebound Galley. Galley over to Robitaille. Kings have 8 seconds up to go in the power play, but the Wings take it away, and Draper brings it to center ice. Kings get it back. Blake with it, but the power play is over. Blake drives it in. Kings get one shot on that power play, which lasted a minute 10. Now Luc Robitaille knocked down by Martin Lapointe. Puck is taken by Nicholas Lidstrom. Some think this man will win the Norris Trophy as the best defenseman in the NHL. Chris Pronger in St. Louis might have something to say about that. Here's Smolinski in to get it.
Bob, he would win the trophy if they had it for the smoothest defenseman. He's understated defensively, so slick offensively, and he does a great job at both ends.
Smolinski came across the line. Kings hold it in the Detroit zone. Craig Johnson, he drives it back behind the net. Chasing it down is Smolinski. Smolinski put it in deep. Todd Gill took it away. Gill checked by Craig Johnson. Oh, a penalty against Smolinski. Turned around and hit McCarty. And a penalty coming up against Smolinski. 1-0 Wings. Back in a moment.
Wayne, what will your first act as commissioner of the Bubble Boys Hockey League be?
Right now, we have a great thing going with the red and blue teams, but down the road, I see us trying to expand. We'll add colors, orange, green, black. And my favorite, a crew.
What's in a crew?
Shut up! What else, Wayne?
Well, if we're going to be as big as the NHL, we're really going to have to promote our stars.
Murph, how do I look?
Guys like Radio Robert.
What? Not the tin, man.
Punks.
Wait, how about a pitcher?
This is an outrage!
I knew I should have stayed home.
Ricky boy!
Hang on a sec, this could be him.
Gloria, this is Mrs. Roberts, your mom's friend. Oh, my Eugene just moved to the city. I'm so proud of him. He's 31. It's his first apartment. He just got his PhD in entomology. You know, bugs. I was thinking that the two of you should really go out. Maybe a nice dinner. He has to stay away from cheese. He's lactose intolerant. What a guy he is, and what a dancer.
Your mom's friends. Another reason to get call waiting ID. Know who's calling before you click over.
Pacific Bell. The phone is, once again, your friend.
You're looking at the official vehicle of crazy people. Like them. People like to bike off boulders, ski off cliffs. It's the Nissan Xterra SE, and it's got a heavy-duty suspension and a powerful 3.3-liter V6 engine. Tubular roof rack with integrated gear basket, water-resistant seats, and interior bike rack. Oh, and did I mention the built-in first aid kit? That wall kind of snuck up on you, didn't it?
Wings will go on the power play again, 1 for 4. Unnecessary penalty. You'd have to say this one is that type. High sticking the call against Smolinski. Keep an eye on the high left right here. Here's Smolinski and McCarty. The puck's coming around the boards. Smolinski unhappy, turns, and right there, the high cross check. High sticking is the actual call. McCarty helps it along, but there's no doubt there was contact with a high stick. Wings go on the power play.
They have a 1-0 lead. 5:53 to go here in the second period. Here's Steve Yzerman. Yzerman, who missed game 1 with a flu, tried to throw it in deep. He gets on it again, but his pass taken away by Rob Blake, and Blake clears it out to center ice. Red Wings on the power play. The only goal of the game was scored with a 2-man advantage for Detroit. Sergei Fedorov back at 5:21 of the first period. Nordstrom in to get it. Slaps it around the right point. Held in by Yzerman. Yzerman to Lidstrom. Lidstrom turns, shoots, score! Holmstrom was right in front. Nicholas Lidstrom fired. It's a power play goal, and Detroit has a 2-0 lead.
Well, you talk about simple, Bob. The Red Wings have so much skill, so much speed, but on the power play, it's simple puck movement. Yzerman kept the puck in the zone. Lidstrom turned and fired, and Tomas Holmstrom is planted. He has not left that position. Lidstrom looks up. Look at that. Head up all the way. Bilesma goes down, tries to block. It's a low shot. It must be. Yes, it is. Holmstrom redirects that shot right between his own legs. Keep an eye on 96. The setup is in front. The shot comes through. It's low. Holmstrom gets his stick on the ice. It goes low to high between his own legs. So the setup is so important, but also it's simple. Coaches talk about this all the time. You get the screen, you get the redirection. Second power play goal. Wings lead it 2-0.
Holmstrom from Lidstrom and Yzerman. Holmstrom's first of the playoffs. And the story tonight is the Kings' inability on the power play. Their inability to stay out of the penalty box, and Detroit has scored with a 2-man advantage and now a 1-man advantage, and they lead it 2-0. 14:40 the time of that goal, and Lidstrom makes it 2-0.
If house A costs this much and house B costs this much, how much will I save if I buy house A?
Well, honey, it depends.
At Bank of America, our people ask questions, even at home.
This is your first home or your retirement dream home? Say on house B, you have one of our shorter term mortgages. You could build equity faster, pay it off faster.
They find solutions that fit you.
And maybe save enough money to buy, say, Lake House C. Assuming, of course, that...
Dad, you're doing it again.
I am? Oh.
Bank of America. Let's talk.
We installed an innovative heating and cooling system for one of the most renowned theaters in LA. One that's so efficient and quiet, chances are you'll hear every little sound on stage. Semper Energy.
Do you need a new car? Do you need to see the ocean? Is watching a sunset absolutely necessary? Introducing the all-new, redesigned Avalon, the most spacious, most luxurious sedan we've ever created. Do you need a new car?
Detroit with a 2-0 lead over the Los Angeles Kings.
Look at that goal. Look at the head of Lidstrom all the way. He has his head up. Many players drop their head to shoot. That's so important because he can see Holmstrom in front. There's the redirection. 2-0 Wings.
Chartrand fires it back behind the net, and puck comes up along the right wing side and cleared out to center, and the Kings have to hustle back to get it. Gary Galley to Sean O'Donnell. Now Jason Blake across the line over to Chartrand. He shoots, and a save by Osgood. Great setup there. Nice pass by Jason Blake. Now held in. A pass in front by Galley, tipped away. But Osgood came up with another nice leg save on Chartrand's bid.
It was nice the way Osgood came across, Bob. He did have to move laterally, but at the same time, he was a tight little ball. The only thing that had to move out was his leg pad. That's what he did to make the save.
Everybody thought Detroit's goaltending would be the weak link. Well, they had one shutout, and he's working on another one tonight. Here is Palffy. He overskated, taken away by Yzerman. Yzerman takes his time, flips it high in the air, and a souvenir for a Kings fan behind the net. 3:57 to go in the second period. Kings have yet to get on the board. They're down 2-0. The Kings on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Did you know athletes can lose more than a half gallon of sweat per hour? Gatorade, is it in you? By Toyota, making it happen every day. And by McDonald's. Did somebody say McDonald's?
We're going to take a look at that last save by Chris Osgood, Bob. Again, the lateral movement by Osgood, but also important, he moved out at the shooter at the same time. Watch Osgood, one step, right there square, left leg pad, makes a save.
Puck comes across the line into the Kings zone, and Rob Blake takes over for the Kings. He drops it off to Nordstrom. Now here's Stumple. Stumple coming up to center ice for the Kings. Puck taken away, though, in the neutral zone, and McCarty eludes a check from Blake, throws it in deep, and Stumple has it back behind the net. 3:28 to go in the second period. Kings are down 2-0. Here is Stumple to the blue line, makes a nice move, and then gets a pass in front, but tipped away by Larry Murphy. Back it comes to Carlotti. He shoots, saved by Osgood. Rebound, Gilchrist for Detroit, clears it up in the air over Carlotti, and it's chased down by Aki Berg. Now a loose puck in the King zone. Carlotti jumps on that. Here's Carlotti to the blue line, throws it down in deep. Kirk Maltby back to it. He is checked by Carlotti and hit hard. Now Maltby checked again, this time by Glenn Murray. Puck comes into Maltby, and Craig Johnson checks him into the boards. Puck taken away by the Kings. Smolinski, he gets checked there by LaPointe. Puck is dug out and cleared to center ice by Detroit, and Aki Berg back to get it.
Well, the Kings trying to change the tide right here, Bob. Hard hit by Carlotti. He jumps down. Big hit on Maltby.
Craig Johnson driving down the right side behind the net. Johnson, he had Glenn Murray, but we've got a penalty here. The net was dislodged. Osgood was knocked back into it.
It might be Brian Smolinski, Bob, of the Kings. He may get an interference call. He pushed Chelios back, although there may be a delay of game call. We'll have to see which way it goes. Chelios may be guilty of pushing the net off deliberately, and for that reason we get a penalty. But right now Chelios is staying on. I think Smolinski will go off for the Kings. I think it'll be an interference call. Smolinski was driving to the net. You'll see the crash at the last second. Actually, it's Osgood that's going to get the penalty. Osgood backs in himself. Wow. Delay of game against Osgood. If you take a look at that, certainly, Bob, I would not argue anytime the Kings get a chance, but Chelios backing in. Osgood, I think what Paul Stewart is saying, that Osgood propped himself underneath the crossbar as the traffic was coming at him and then stood up. And when you do that, you can knock the net off the marsh pegs. Steve Yzerman is talking with Paul Stewart. Bob, I think it's an odd call. Again, I'd love to see the Kings on the power play. They've got to get back in this game, but the traffic was so close. Watch Osgood. Chelios is coming down. Chelios was hit by Smolinski. Now he backs in. Net is still on. The traffic right now. Does Osgood back in? I think it's actually Chelios that pushes it off with his right hand.
Yeah.
Osgood, unfortunately, for the wing standpoint, gets the call. Chris Chelios was involved. So there's the crash to the net. The Kings drove. They create the penalty. Kings go on the power play.
Penalty will be served by Pat Verbeek. Well, the Kings are getting chances here. They're 0 for 5, though, with the power play tonight. One of them, a 4-minute power play in which they got only one shot. Kings have got to get back in this game using the man advantage, but the Red Wings win the draw. Now it comes in the corner, but taken away by Robitaille. Robitaille to Ziggy Palffy. Now to Robitaille. Double teamed along the boards. Puck comes in deep. Nicholas Lidstrom clears it past Galley, back into the Kings zone.
Bob, you said it perfectly. The Kings were double teamed along the boards in the offensive zone. They have the power play. A little bit better by the Kings hunting down that loose puck. You've got to outnumber the penalty-killing team when you have that man advantage until you get control. When you get control, then you can spread out and move the puck around.
Left side, Palffy moving in deep. He's got a man in front, but he sent it behind Galley, and it comes back into the Kings zone. Rob Blake back in to get it. A minute 19 to go on the King power play. We're late in the second period, and the Kings are down 2-0. Here's Rob Blake. He fanned on his pass, and it is not cleared yet. Bounces over to Chelios, and he clears it. Back behind the net, stopped there by Stefan Fiset. 1 minute left to go on this power play for the Kings. A goal near the end of this period would give him some life coming into the third. Smolinski slaps it behind the net. Osgood had it bounce off of him, and Lidstrom got it to Fedorov, and he clears. Back down into the Kings zone.
The coolness right there of Nicholas Lidstrom. They had a bouncing puck. All he did was corral it between his own legs. He just looked around. So much calm and control by Lidstrom. That's why the Wings were able to clear that zone.
Detroit in the regular season tied for 8th in penalty killing in the NHL. Kings drive it in. Wings take it away. clear it up to center ice, and here comes Chris Draper. Draper, left wing, scored from there in game 2. Doesn't get a shot this time, but kills time, and now only 18 seconds left on the power play, and the Red Wings have it again. Here's Kirk Maltby. Maltby pinned there by Aki Berg. Smolinski back to get it, but only 8 seconds left in the power play. Smolinski to center ice. Smolinski across the line. Red Wings 3 seconds away from being back at full strength. They take the puck. The Kings get no shots on the power play, and they're 0 for 6 in this game. Puck thrown back in deep, and Fisset knocks it around the boards. The Kings are 0 for 15 with a man advantage in this series. Across the line, Aki Berg put it down along the boards, and Gilchrist broke it up with 6 seconds to go in this second period, and an icing call against Detroit.
Well, the Kings not getting anything going on the power play, Bob. The one thing that's sticking out to me, it seems very simple. The dump-ins have to be better by the LA Kings. Chris Osgood is doing exactly what the goaltender should do. He's getting out behind the net and stopping the puck. Not only doing that, he's doing it so forcefully, so directly, he's just setting that puck up on his tee for his defenseman to pick it up. So the Kings, they're shooting it in hard, but they're not fooling Osgood whatsoever. Normally when teams try to shoot it along the boards and ring it around, you want it to come out the other side. Osgood not letting that happen.
Kings 6 power plays, no goals, only 3 shots on 6 times with a man advantage, including 1 4-minute advantage. Now the Kings have pulled the goaltender, Stefan Fisset, with 3.7 seconds left. So they have the extra attacker on with a face-off in the Detroit zone. Can you score into an empty net in 3.7 seconds? We'll see. Off the draw, Kings Blake shoots, saved by Osgood. Rebound shot wide by Corkum, and that's the end of the second period. In that period, Thomas Holmstrom gets a power play goal from Lidstrom and Yzerman. It's 2-0 in favor of the Red Wings at the end of 2 periods. We'll be back here at Staples Center with more right after this. One period left to go. Detroit has a 2-0 lead in the series and a 2-0 lead in the score tonight over the Kings. Well, Detroit won 2 straight Stanley Cups in '97 and '98. They were eliminated by Colorado last year, and there's Martin Lapointe. We ask him if the team is hungrier this year after being eliminated a year ago.
Well, I think it's tough mentally, you know, after you win 2 cups and you go try to win a 3rd one. I think it's tough mentally, and I think guys learn a lot of things from the past year, and we just try not to make those mistakes again, and you know, hopefully we can go far this year.
Well, Martin was talking about hunger. There's Brendan Shanahan, Bob. Before the series started, I asked Brendan about that situation. How do you know everyone is hungry going into a season? He says things aren't that obvious. It's not going to slap you in the face, but he says players come into camp in better shape, and he says at the end of the season, you hear more comments like, oh, I can't wait till the season's over. We're looking, those type of things, everyone pulls together. And Brendan Shanahan talked about after winning the first cup, he said it's not after that, you don't back off at all. He just said it's like an animal tasting meat for the first time. You want more. The Wings didn't do it last year, but they're looking for more this year.
We got a penalty right off the bat here to start the 3rd period.
Well, hit in from behind, right in front of the Kings bench. It looks like Chris Draper is down on one knee. I think roughing will be the call. Brad Chartrand going off for the Kings. There's Kirk Maltby. He's one of those grind guys. The Detroit Red Wings, as much as you want to talk about their skill and speed, they have everyone doing the job. There's the hit from behind by Chartrand, and they both fall into the boards. So again, it's not necessarily the force. It's kind of a tackle right there. Roughing was the actual call. I didn't see a punch or anything like that. Well, Bob, they talked about staying out of the penalty box, and has not been the case. You go back 2 years ago, Bob, you have to bring it up. St. Louis Blues, that was the same thing the Kings were discussing. There was a different coach at that point, but the Kings taking a penalty right here to start the 3rd period.
Well, they stayed out for 7 seconds. That's the time of the penalty here to start the 3rd period. Detroit 2 out of 5 tonight on the power play, and those 2 goals have given them a 2-0 lead. They get it back to Yzerman at the blue line. Yzerman sends it over to Lidstrom. He throws it in front, taken away and cleared by Rob Blake. So Detroit 5 out of 18 on the power play in the series. Drop pass back on the left side to Verbeek. Verbeek over to Fedorov. Fedorov along the boards kind of collided with his own teammate Lidstrom. Holmstrom. The puck goes back behind the net. Now to Lidstrom at the blue line. He throws it in front. Comes through over to Fedorov on the right side. Fedorov put it down the corner. Back to the blue line. They get it Yzerman to Lidstrom to Yzerman. Yzerman right in the middle. Now down in deep and walking in front, but he lost the puck was Verbeek, and it's cleared. Boy, what movement. They just take their time. They've got open men. They make the pass. And Verbeek just fanned on it, and the Kings cleared it. Here's Yzerman. Throws it right back in. And the Kings throw it in. Detroit gets to it first. Detroit throws it in. They get it. Left side, Duchesne gives it over to Yzerman. Yzerman backhands it into LaPointe. LaPointe let it go to Larionov. Larionov sent it out in front. And it's tipped away and cleared by Sean O'Donnell.
Well, the Kings getting back to protect the middle right there. They're dumping it in more. The Wings are here in the third period on the power play. Many times they carried in. They had a chance earlier with Fedorov, but all that speed, they back off the defenders.
20 seconds left to go, and the King penalty. We've just started the third period. Here's Shanahan. Brendan Shanahan down the corner. He had 41 goals during the regular season. Red Wings dig it out again. Back to the blue line to Duchesne. Now to Larry Murphy. Murphy's pass tipped up in the air. Here's Shanahan. Shanahan in behind the net. Threw it out in front. He looked like he tried to bank it off of Fisset. It didn't work. Kings are back at full strength. No shots on that power play for Detroit. And Corkum sends it off the boards in deep in the Detroit zone. Glenn Murray in to get it. He's checked there by Shanahan. Murray put it off into the corner. Now Luc Robitaille comes in. He gets it quickly back to the right side. Carlotti shoots, and a save in the glove of Osgood.
Well, the Kings try to get traffic right there with Glenn Murray, but Osgood found a way to pick that puck right out of the air. Carlotti got a lot on that shot, so the Kings get back to full strength. Bob, we've talked about that power play and the power play entry. Transition, watch this. The Wings go the other way. Fedorov is on this side right here. Does he look like he's going? No, he's gliding. Yzerman gets him the pass. That speed backs off. Again, a drop pass on the entry. That shows so much control. And you can see the Wings right now, they get it behind the net. That's the difference. The Kings have been unable to gain control in the offensive zone on the power play. The Kings are trying to dump it in. Osgood is stopping the puck. When the Wings get it, they use the speed, carry it into the zone.
Stumble will take the draw. He's got one shot tonight. Robitaille's got no shots tonight. Palvey's got two. Right side, here's Carlotti. Carlotti throws it in front. Off the stick of Stumble. Stumble back in front. Robitaille shoots. He scores! Well, he did have no shots up until that point, and the Kings are back in the game, trailing 2-1.
The Kings able to rebound face off. It starts from there, but Luc Robitaille was wide open in the slot. Stumple gets a chance to protect. It's a backhand pass. Look at Luc Robitaille pull it. He fires it between the legs of Chelios, then between the legs of Osgood. The goaltender Osgood could not feel comfortable. He didn't come out and challenge. Look at how deep Osgood is on the play, but the Kings find the loose puck. Watch this pass, backhand, Stumple right on the stick. Before you know it, the Kings right back in this game. Robitaille from the middle of the slot.
Robitaille from Stumple and Carlotti at 2:35. The puck came up out of play. Robitaille's 49th career playoff goal.
Normally the Red Wings do a good job collapsing to protect the middle. We talked about that in the second period. You'll see the Kings chase down the loose puck. You stop right here. Here's Robitaille. He was moving in. He was well high on the play, so he's able to move into the pass. The Wings are there. They have three men back. Doesn't work. Robitaille pulls the trigger.
So the Kings down by a goal. The puck bounces to the blue line and out to center ice. Kings take over, but then it's taken away by Duchesne. Duchesne to the King line. Duchesne in the slot. Shoots. Saved by Fisset. Rebound behind the net to Fedorov. Taken away by Blake. Blake's got a man at center. It's Robitaille, but couldn't get it to him. That would have been a two-line pass. Taken away by Chelios. Chelios to Fedorov. Fedorov checked there by Nordstrom. Loose puck at center ice. Jumped down by Duchesne. His shot blocked, and the Kings control it. 16:43 to go in the third. Palffy sends it down in the Detroit zone. Osgood stops it there. Couldn't clear. Palffy had it left side, and Osgood was not back in front of the net yet, but the puck bounced, and Palffy couldn't control it, and now it's frozen in the left wing corner.
Osgood's a left-hand shot, Bob, and he was uncomfortable there. The Kings are getting better dump-ins here in the third period. Osgood doesn't handle the puck well. He's been stopping it behind the net. That time he tried to move it. Didn't work. The Kings almost had an empty net.
Well, there are still some limited playoff tickets available for the next game. That's Wednesday night here, the 19th, and Sunday, April 23rd, if necessary. Tickets are available at the Staples Center box office, all Ticketmaster outlets, and by phone at 213-365-3600. Kings back in the game. They trail 2-1. We're early in the third period. Here is Larry Murphy. Long shot saved by Fisset, and he's going to hang on for a face-off.
Bob, I talked about that dump by the Kings on the last play. Chris Osgood comes out. He's a left-hand shot. He was uncomfortable. He likes to go around the other way. Here's the dump. He can't go the other way. Palffy will get the puck, but watch Sergei Fedorov. He's known for defense. Right there, he locks up sticks with Palffy. So Palffy did have the open net, but Fedorov paying attention to defense back right there. But the Kings getting smarter with their dump-ins. You dump it to that one side, the right side, against Chris Osgood. That makes it more difficult for the goaltender.
Off the draw in the King zone comes to Glenn Murray on the right wing. Murray, 29 goals in the regular season. He throws it into Craig Johnson. Johnson checked hard by Larry Murphy. Glenn Murray's pass around to an open wing, and the Wings take it away and clear it up to the blue line. They come back to center 3-on-3. Here across the line, jumping down the right side. The puck comes into the corner, rolled away from Draper, and the Kings back up to center ice. Here is Carlotti to the blue line. Carlotti threw it in, taken away by Nicholas Lidstrom. He sweeps it around to Larry Murphy. Murphy's pass up to center ice, then he gets hit hard as he passed it up to center. He got hit there by Craig Johnson. Kings come back to center ice. Here's LaPerriere down the left wing in the Detroit zone. LaPerriere pulls up, throws a pass that's deflected up in the air and back out to center ice. 15 and a half minutes left to go in the third period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox and Bill McDonald. Kings were down 2-0. They've scored here in the third. Robitaille's second of the series from Stumple and Carlotti. And here's Chartrand to center. Didn't get it. Picked up by Osgood, and he sends it around the boards. Here is Holmstrom. Didn't get it. Dowling's shot is wide off the tip of the glove of Osgood. In front, Chartrand. Saved by Osgood. Oh, a great chance for Chartrand to tie it up. And Osgood with a great save, and the Wings still lead 2-1.
Brad Chartrand was in perfect position. Bobby did the right thing. He got the puck off. It looks like we're going to get a penalty right here. There's Chartrand down. He ran into Igor Larionov, but Chartrand had the best chance. It was a quick pass. The Kings are getting the dump-ins, working it more effective here in the third period. That's the biggest change in the game so far. I think we're going to get coincidental minors. Here's the chance. LaPerriere to Chartrand. Watch Osgood. Two-pad slide. When you see a two-pad slide from a goaltender, that means it's a drastic measure. But Osgood made the right decision there, and Chartrand did the right thing. He redirected it. A couple of penalties there at the end of the last play. Larionov gets slashing. Brad Chartrand, I think, picks up a penalty for hooking. Chartrand was trying to block on the dump-in to hold up Larionov on the forecheck. Coincidental minors, 4-on-4 skating.
Well, the Kings had a great chance there to tie it up, and Osgood came up with that save, but the Kings playing the best that they played for the game. They're throwing it in, they're getting to the puck, and they're setting up some opportunities.
Bob, I think that's the biggest difference. Smarter dump-ins here for the Kings. Osgood is handling it, but he's not handling it in the position he wants to. There's not a lot of control. Osgood throwing away the puck.
Here's Stumple across the line, tried to get it over on the left side to Nordstrom, but it tipped away from him, and Chelios back to get it. Now Duchesne to Chelios, checked there by Stumple. Osgood covers it up before Stumple could get to it. And a face-off now in the Detroit zone. 4-on-4 skating here in the third.
A reminder coming up immediately after the game, it's the all-new National Sports Report, the nightly news show that recaps the day in sports from a new, fresh perspective. Check it out tonight, the National Sports Report, after our game on Fox Sports Net. And Bob, when you talked with Andy Murray during the regular season, he said Scotty Bowman's team had most difficulty when the Kings pressured the Wings and didn't give the Wings defensemen time to make the outlet passes. That's another change right here. It happened on the last play. Andy Murray now has the Kings aggressive on the forecheck. There's no time for the Wings defenseman to get to the puck, turn around and make the pass. The Kings spending time in the wing zone.
Smolinski will take this face-off against Yzerman in the Detroit Red Wings zone with 14:31 to play in the third. 2-1 Red Wings lead. And off the draw, Yzerman wins it back to Larry Murphy. Now Yzerman can't clear, held in by the Kings' Rob Blake, but he gave it right back, and it's cleared up to center ice by Lidstrom. Pass right side, hopped over the stick of Yzerman. He chases it in. He chops at it. He and Matty Nordstrom battle along the boards, and the Kings come out with it. Here's Rob Blake. Blake up to center ice. Blake's pass in the zone, though, taken away by Yzerman. He got knocked down. Smolinski over to get it. And the Kings control it in their own zone.
Nice one-on-one there. Matty Nordstrom, he took out Steve Yzerman. Yzerman missed the last 4 games. Regular season with knee injuries, not skating that well. Nordstrom did the job defensively.
Nordstrom just gets dragged down by McCarty at center ice. Puck comes in and poked away from Glenn Murray by Osgood. Now back to center. Here's McCarty across the line. He shoots wide. Rebound off the boards. Back out to center ice. Rob Blake has 2 shots in the game. Scotty Bowman said at the start of this series, they cannot allow Rob Blake to get his normal 4 or 5 shots a game. And tonight they've held him to 2.
Bob, they're paying special attention to Rob Blake. There's no doubt. Even strength power play, it's the same thing. Penalty clipped right there in the neutral zone. But Rob Blake, he has a winger on him at all times. No time to get a clear-cut pass, no time to set up and get the shot on goal.
Get an icing call against Detroit here. The Kings are back in the game. There's Luc Robitaille. He got the goal. It's 2-1.
Introducing the Lexus ES Platinum Series with a host of unique features,
Beverage, sir?
including a 2-year complimentary American Express Platinum card for benefits like free companion tickets on selected international flights. Now, more than ever, prepare for departure. Nothing treats you quite like a Lexus.
Bye-bye.
Save $2,100 at your Southern California Lexus dealer.
One of the things you have to have is just this innate love of cars. It has to be something that you'd probably do for free even if they didn't pay you for it. And I used to do it for free before I ever became a professional mechanic. You know, while I was going to school and stuff like that, I worked on my own cars. For one thing, out of necessity, I didn't have the money to pay somebody to fix them. You know, it's like some people love to play chess or something like that. I don't personally like chess much. I learned how to play it. I didn't like it, but I love working on cars, probably for the same reason, where it's analytical. It's kind of like solving a crossword puzzle.
He's in there all year long, screaming and carrying on. Angels, Lakers, even the King. And he's never been on skates in his whole life. And he'll be screaming at the players like he can do it better. Fool.
Sellout crowd, 18,118. 20th sellout of the season for the Kings. They had 19 in the regular season. Puck taken by Karlotti. Shoots, saved by Osgood, and the rebound to the blue line. Held in by Aki Berg. Berg gives it behind the net to Palffy. Palffy tried to roll it in front, but Osgood got his stick on it. Stumple tried to get to it, but it comes up to center ice. Red Wings. Tip pass there to Chelios. Left side, Draper shoots, and a save by Passay. 12:55 to go in the third. The Kings down by a goal at 2-1, and there's a good look at Chris Draper. Say, are you looking to put your sports knowledge to the test? Well, then be sure to tune to Sports Geniuses, the new nightly game show that'll challenge the most knowledgeable of sports fans. Sports Geniuses, weeknights at 6 and 11 p.m. on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Bob, the things have turned around here in the third period. Again, it starts with one of the simplest part of any hockey game, the dump-ins. The Kings are dumping it into positions now where the Wings can't get it. If their defensemen do get it, there's a lot of pressure initially. Great backhand pass by Stumple to that man, Robitaille. Osgood was deep in the net. Robitaille went cleaner, so the Kings right back in this game. 1 second remaining on the penalties to Chartrand and Lariana. Then we'll be back to 5-on-5 skating.
Ready on this draw, Bob Corkum with Gilchrist. Gilchrist wins the draw. Now both teams are back at full strength. Puck is up at center ice. And LaPerriere trying to dig it out along the boards. Brent Gilchrist is there. LaPerriere sends it to the Detroit line. Now sent by Holmstrom into the King zone, and Rob Blake back to get it. Blake had 4 shots in game 1, and he had 8 shots in game 2. So Detroit trying to hold him down, as we mentioned just moments ago, hold Blake down in shots, and they've done it so far tonight. Here is Nordstrom. Has to wait for the Kings to get onside. Then he flipped it in, but Holmstrom tipped it away, and now at center ice, here's Craig Johnson. He tried to throw it in, but the Wings knock it down again. Picked up by the Kings of their own blue line. Gary Galley Left side to Craig Johnson. Johnson throws it in. Jason Blake goes for it. Behind the net is Osgood. Puck comes around the right side. Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell down the corner. He tried to throw it behind the net, but it's taken away by Todd Gill. Gill for the wings up on the right side now to Holmstrom. Flips it in. Detroit going for a line change. Holmstrom tied up by Sean O'Donnell. Kings get it to Craig Johnson. Johnson at center ice. Shoots it in, and Osgood behind the net. Didn't get this one. Glenn Murray into the corner. He didn't get up, but Smolinski did. Smolinski put it back in the corner. He got it back. Then his pass deflected to the right point and held in by Smolinski to Glenn Murray. Murray behind the net. Murray put it back in the corner to Smolinski. Tipped away by Lidstrom, and the Red Wings clear it up to center ice. Across the line, Yzerman left side. Shoots, saved by Pisay, and Yzerman goes hard into the boards. Puck is picked up by the Kings. Yzerman slow to get up. Here's Galley to center. Galley left side. Glenn Murray shoots, save. Murray again. Murray in front, knocked away. Right side, Carlotti, and the net is dislodged.
It looks like the face-off's going to come outside. The net is dislodged with Craig Johnson right there in the crease. Chris Osgood. The Red Wings had a pretty good chance on a counterattack. Steve Yzerman was speed wide. Stephane Pisay is extra aggressive here in the third period. Pisay knows there's nothing coming the other way. Look at Stephane right at the top of the crease to make the pad save. Yzerman tried to pick up the rebound, fell heavily into the boards. Look at that position by Pisay. He backs off. That shows you he's set for the shot. He knows when it's coming. Again, no traffic away from the play. But once again, Bob, I have to mention, from the standpoint of the Los Angeles Kings, the comfort level is no longer there for the Red Wings on dump-ins. Every time Osgood goes back to handle the puck now, he's fidgeting with it. He doesn't have a clear-cut outlet right away, so the Kings are right there, breaking up the play.
And on the draw in the Red Wing zone, it's taken by Chelios up ahead to LaPointe. LaPointe to center ice. Sends it off the right wing boards. In deep, and Aki Berg back in to get it. He's in his first game in this series. Berg's pass up to center ice, chased down by Chris Chelios. Chelios slaps it to the King line. Here's Jari Karlotti. And the Kings do not clear yet. It's along the right wing boards, held in by Draper, but now Aki Berg in the corner. Gets it over to Karlotti. He almost lost it. He regained his balance. He clears it out to center ice. 10:28 to go in the third period. Kings are down 2-1. They did trail 2-0 until the Kings' Luke Robitaille got his second goal of the series here in the third period. Now Rob Blake up ahead to center ice. Kings come to the blue line. Poke checked away by Nicholas Lidstrom off the stick of LaPerriere. Here is Yzerman. Yzerman across the line. His pass broken up. Kings turn it back the other way. Here is Chartrand to center ice. He had a great chance earlier in the period, and Osgood turned him away at point blank. Shanahan, can he clear up? Yes, high over the head of Rob Blake. And back in the King zone goes Matty Nordstrom. Nordstrom chased back behind the net. He protects the puck, but then he gave it away behind the net to Yzerman. Yzerman's pass over to Shanahan. Shanahan had it tipped away. Again, the Wings thought they held it in, but then they're offside as it came out across the line. 9:45 to go in the third. We'll be right back.
Does unforgettable have to be unaffordable? Not if you take a drive to Priceless Bridals, where you just might find a $2,600 hand-beaded Chantilly lace gown for $399. And then for another great marriage of high quality and low prices, stop at Arco. You'll treat your car right and start saving some of that money you'll need for those fancy napkins with your names printed on them. Arco, there's no better gas and no better deal.
This is your modem. This is what we do to your modem. For internet service up to 100 times faster, call 1-877-FLASHCOM. Now get connected from only $39.95 a month. FlashCom. Get up to speed.
Toyota's Spring Fever Savings Event is on. Lease a new 4Runner for just $299 a month. And IntelliChoice Best Overall Value, 4Runner is an incredible value at just $299 a month for 36 months with $14.99 due at signing. This 4Runner comes loaded with AC, power windows and locks, deluxe stereo, and more. Toyota's Spring Fever Savings ends May 1st. See your Toyota dealer today.
2-1 Wings. The Kings trying to crank it up on the transition. Blake to LaPerriere. But watch the defensive play again. I'm going to mention again, Nicholas Lidstrom. Watch him use the stick to control the space. LePerriere tries to get the line. Lidstrom with a poke check. And the Red Wings go the other way. Nicholas Lidstrom, he has goals, he has assists, he makes the plays on the power play. He had an empty net goal at the end of game 2. And certainly, again, I think the word that's best describes his play defensively is understated. He never makes the hard check as far as standing up. He's not a dynamic defenseman like a Rob Blake, but certainly he still gets it done. He's very smooth. On the other hand, Bob, from the Kings standpoint, I think a lot of credit is due to that fourth line. Ian LePerriere, Brad Chartrand, and Jason Blake. They've created some energy. Again, I talked with Chartrand yesterday. I talked with Jason Blake. They said Andy Murray clearly told them what they want to do on the ice. Their role is only energy to get out there, but they're spending a lot more time with the puck than I think a lot of people expected them to do. A great job by the Kings' fourth line.
Detroit had just called a timeout, so they've used theirs with 9:45 left to go here in the third period. And the face-off as play is underway again, controlled by the Kings. Here's Matty Nordstrom up to center ice. Kings are down 2-1. Gets it back over to Blake. Blake tried to get it to Palffy, poked away by Chelios. Back to center ice. Fedorov goes for it. He is knocked down by Nordstrom. Here's Duchesne for Detroit. Across the line it comes. Shot, knocked down, and the Kings pick it up. The shot. Here's Palffy cutting in. He shoots wide to the left side on the backhand. Chelios got back to hamper him. Here's Nordstrom. His shot tipped up behind the net to Robitaille. Robitaille behind the net. Waits, looks in front. McCarty checks him there. Knocks him down. Luke gets up. He's knocked down again. Puck comes off on the left side. Nordstrom tried to hold it in. Now the Wings get it back to center ice. Taken there by Slava Kozlov. He gets a shot. And a save made by Fisset.
A lot of speed in this game, Bob, but also a lot of one-on-one battles. Now everything's working down low. You have to battle. You keep going, keep the legs moving.
Kings driving down in deep in the Detroit zone. Osgood leaves it behind the net for Larry Murphy. Kings do not get a forecheck this time. Puck comes up to center ice to Martin Lapointe. Tipped away from him. Craig Johnson's pass across the line. Broken up by Larry Murphy. Kings chase it down again. Harry Carlotti with 8.5 to go in the third. Kings are down 2-1, and they're down 2-0 in the series. Pass comes across the line, broken up by the Wings, cleared back to the King line, and Aki Berg has it. He gives it down the left side to Craig Johnson. Johnson's pass knocked down by Nicholas Lidstrom. He's all over the place, and he gets it to Larionov, and he sends it behind the net.
Well, you never see Lidstrom at top speed, but he controls the flow of the game because he stands up very smart on the ice.
Here now to center ice, Gary Galley drives it in the Detroit zone again. Osgood, plenty of time behind the net, puts it up around the right side, taken away. Shot from there and a save. Shot by Glenn Murray and a save made by Osgood. Puck comes back off the boards and the Wings get it to the blue line and out to center ice. Sean O'Donnell back of the King line. His pass taken away by Verbeek. Now across the line, batted back to center. Kings turn it back the other way. Craig Johnson. Johnson on the left wing. Up the middle to LePerriere. LePerriere shoots and Johnson in front. Tipped it, but it went wide. And then he backed into Osgood. Puck taken by Yzerman. Yzerman back to center, but the Kings got traffic in front of the net on that shot. Craig Johnson went right toward the front of the net, and we get an icing call against Detroit. 7:24 to go. The Kings playing the best they played all night, but they're still a goal short here in the third.
And normally when you talk about transition, you'd say the advantage goes to the Wings. The Kings have had a great transition game. That last chance, the shot by LePerriere. There is Craig Johnson. He was right in front. He had his face to the shooter, which you want to happen. Watch Lappy hold on. The back checker was Verbeek. Gets his head up again. The timing is so important. You saw the redirection just to the near side. Then the barrel in. Watch Osgood. Does he see the puck? He'll see it for a split second. Now here onto the right side, there's Johnson right off the side of the net. So the Kings getting their timing going. Again, Ian LePerriere involved. Redirection on the backhand, just misses the short side. LePerriere very effective tonight, Bob, in this game. Transition using his speed.
And now he wins the draw to Chartrand. Chartrand, Detroit zone to the right point to Blake. Blake's pass broken up, and the Red Wings Gilchrist brings it to center ice. And across the line, McCarty just did stay onside. Fedorov throws it in deep. Puck comes around to McCarty again. He gives it to Gilchrist. Gilchrist checked by Blake. McCarty picks it up. He gives it to Fedorov. Fedorov in the King zone, hanging on, protecting the puck. Gets it to Gilchrist. Gilchrist banks it off the boards to McCarty. McCarty trying to get away from Jason Blake. Gilchrist shoots wide. Rebound right side. Chelios pinching in. Chelios to McCarty. McCarty hit hard by Rob Blake. Blake lost his stick. He kicked it over to LaPerriere. He's got Duchesne draped all over him. Jason Blake picks up the puck. Had to knock a stick out of the way. Now Jason Blake to center to Chartrand. Chartrand gets checked. Behind the net, we've got two players battling. Puck is taken at center ice by Yzerman. It was Nordstrom and McCarty way back behind the net as play continued. Now no whistle yet. Lapointe rolls it in. Stop made by Fisset. We've got two broken sticks and a water bottle on the ice. We've got 6:09 to go in the third. Kings are down 2-1. Carlotti slaps it around Maltby. Puck comes left side to Palffy. Palffy's shot way wide. Rebound is taken by Maltby. Carlotti steps into him. Puck comes up to center. Pass ahead. They had Lapointe behind everybody, but couldn't get it to him at the King line. Here's Ziggy Palffy. He gave it now to Stumple. Stumple tipped it in. Checked by Palffy behind the net. And the puck rolls out to center ice. Luke Robitaille with it. He's got the King goal tonight. He gets it off on the right side to Ziggy Palffy. Palffy soft pass at center ice. Played for the Kings over to Robitaille. Luke tips it in. Kings want to get a line change. Larry Murphy in to get it for Detroit with 5.5 to go in regulation. Kings down 2-1. Here's Verbeek for Detroit. Flips it into the King zone, and Sean O'Donnell back to get it. Stick handles around that water bottle, and the Red Wings take it away. In front, Yzerman. Save made by Fisset. He beat Yzerman at point blank. Here behind the net, that water bottle still in the way. Shanahan, left side for Detroit. Down the middle, his pass taken away. Craig Johnson turns it back the other way. He's got good speed. Johnson across the line. Hooked from behind a little bit. Fanned on his pass, and the Red Wings take it away. And here comes Yzerman on a break, all alone. Yzerman shoots. Saved by Fisset. He hangs on, and a penalty coming up.
Bob, that shot would not have counted. Chris Chelios is going to get an interference call. He tried to slow down Gary Galley. Galley was working on the back check. Yzerman had the break. Would not have counted. Kings are going on the power play.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. And in closing, I'd just like to say that I'm going to give this job everything I've got.
What? It is over? No questions for us?
Well, he's a star. Hey, watch your mouth.
Hey, Wayne. You and your wife want to go to a party? Sure. Can my friends come with us?
Ooh la la.
Absolutely.
Hello, baby.
Hey, girls.
I told you, he is the great one.
That's not what you said.
All hail Wayne.
Oh, boy.
At Del Taco, we don't spend millions of dollars on product development. We have Dan. So when Dan came up with our new Works burritos with your choice of tender chicken, juicy steak, or fresh veggies, we said great. But if they're not wildly successful, Dan will be fired.
What?
Gone.
No,
Out of here.
my daughter needs braces. Oh.
Well, there's another reason to try a Works burrito. Little Susie needs braces.
I'm on the softball team, for crying out loud.
If you ever have a rough ride in the Lexus RX 300, it's not our fault.
I was only kidding.
One goal difference right here. The Kings will get a chance on the power play. Yzerman chasing down the puck. Chris Chelios right here reaches out and pulls down Gary Galley. Keep an eye on the official on the left-hand side. Paul Stewart, once he tries to raise his head, finally does raise his arm. So this play would not have counted with Steve Yzerman breaking in. Fisset makes the save anyway. He lunges, gets his glove on it right there. But the penalty interference, the call, hooking Chris Chelios. Kings on the power play.
Kings are 0 for 6 with 3 shots with a man advantage and now a chance to tie the game. Puck comes in deep behind the King net. Here's Rob Blake. He's being hampered there by Draper. Draper cuts Blake off. Blake gives it to Ziggy Palffy. Here's Palffy to center ice. He slaps it across the line. Then it's fired in deep by Stumple. Osgood put it back in the corner, taken away by Palffy. Palffy lost it. It comes up the middle, though. Kings hold it in. Over to Blake. Shoots and a save. Rebound, left wing side. Kings trying to get to it. Stumple and Robitaille and Palffy. Puck comes to Nicholas Lidstrom. He drives it past Carlotti back into the Kings zone.
Kings get what they want, though. That one-time shot with Rob Blake. Luke Robitaille was in front. Nice hard pass by Jari Carlotti. That allowed Blake to get the shot on goal.
4:09 to go in regulation. Kings are down 2-1. Slaps it behind the net. Osgood didn't cut it off. It comes back behind the net again. Kings into the corner. Puck rolls along the boards, though. Taken away and cleared by Yzerman. Rob Blake back behind the net. He gets knocked down there, and looked like Fassé got hit a little bit by Shanahan. Back up to center. Here comes Carlotti to the blue line, across the line. Backhands it in. Taken away by Duchesne. Slaps it around the right side, and it's held in. But the wings, Yzerman chasing it down, can't clear. Left point, Gary Galley. Galley shoots, knocked down in front. It hit Duchesne. Comes over to Shanahan. He's got time, takes his time, and clears it into the King zone. Now only 25 seconds remain in the King power play. Gary Galley starting it back to center. We said at the start of the series, the King power play had to be effective. They have not been effective. If they fail on this, they're 0 for 7 tonight. Across the line, left side, down in the corner, Lidstrom trying to take it away, and it's cleared again, and that's going to do it. Kings get one shot on that power play, 0 for 7 tonight, and 0 for 16 in the series. Now Johnson with the wings back at full strength. Right side, across the line. LaPerriere shoots, save made by Osgood. Rebound is picked up by McCarty, and he clears it up to center ice. Here's Igor Larionov. Larionov steps across the blue line. 2.5 minutes to go in regulation. Maltby tried to get it, but the Kings took it away. Kings are down 2-1. Pass up to center ice. Blake to Chartrand. Chartrand throws it in deep. Detroit zone. Played by Larry Murphy. Murphy's pass up to center ice, taken away by Rob Blake. Blake slaps it right back in the Detroit zone, but the Kings are offside on the play. 2:15 to go in regulation, and the Wings have a 2-1 lead. The Kings on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we won't make it till you order it. By United, rising is a daily commitment to make flying more civilized. United is rising. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
Now, Bob, the Kings trying to get back in this game and tie it up. Ian LaPerriere, there he is on the bench sitting with Jason Blake. I think LaPerriere, Bob, is playing his best hockey in this game. Best I've seen him all season long from the standpoint of skating. And we know he's a fourth liner right now. Bob Corkum taking over that position. But Lappy getting a lot of ice time. His legs are moving. He knows what he wants to do when he gets the puck. Get it in deep and make the hits.
Off the draw, the puck back in the King zone. Time running out. Kings need one to tie and send it to overtime. Here is Stumple. Stumple starting back to center ice. Flips it into the Detroit zone. Chelios chases it in. Robitaille behind him. Chelios to Lidstrom. Lidstrom gets it up the middle. Red Wings back to center. Here's Yzerman with Verbeek. Yzerman crisscrosses, shoots, and it's knocked down. Tipped away from Yzerman, left side by Gary Galley. But the Wings jump on it again, and it comes to Shanahan. Shanahan couldn't get a good shot. But taken by Rob Blake, and again the Red Wings tip it away. But Robitaille gets it for the Kings. 1:30 left to go in regulation. Here's Stumple. Stumple to center ice. His pass back along the right wing boards and into the zone. Cleared by Lidstrom. Kings get it back to Robitaille. Robitaille fires it hard around the boards. Fedorov lost it for a moment. Now it comes into the corner. Fedorov gets it back again. Fedorov left side. He comes to center ice. Fedorov for Detroit to the blue line. And couldn't handle it. Almost stepped on the puck, and it comes behind the net to Smolinski. Now we're coming down to 1 minute to go in regulation. Fassé wondering when he's come out right now. He comes to the bench. Kings get the extra attacker. King net is wide open. Fedorov's pass behind the net. Kings take it away. Here is Craig Johnson. Couldn't get it. Now Sean O'Donnell. O'Donnell left side to Smolinski. Down in the corner. Smolinski gets it back to the blue line, and Sean O'Donnell lost it. Back to center comes Smolinski. 40 seconds to go in regulation. Craig Johnson stays onside. Wings take it away. Clear it back to center again. Kings down 2-1 with 30 seconds to go in regulation. The King net is empty. Here's Rob Blake. Pass right side. Tipped in. Lidstrom in to get it. Lidstrom down in the corner. Kings want to force a face-off if they can, but the Wings take it away. Clear it to center. Blake back to get it. His pass off the boards with 15 seconds to go in regulation. Puck fired back behind the net. Lidstrom with it there. He clears to center ice, and the Red Wings are going to take a 3-0 lead. Blake back to get it. Slaps it around the boards. 4 seconds to go. 1 second left, and the Red Wings have a 3-0 lead in the series. The power play for Detroit and the lack of a power play efficiency by the Kings did them in tonight. The Red Wings win it 2-1.
That's certainly the case, Bob. The Red Wings gained control entering the zone on the power play. Nicholas Lidstrom had 2 assists tonight on both power play goals, but Bob, he controls the game in so many other areas, standing up at his own blue line. The last time the Kings tried to dump the puck in the zone, Bob, Lindstrom went back. He was poised. All he did was protect the puck. He held on. He got some support from Chris Draper. There's Andy Murray, head coach of the Kings. The Kings turned things around in the third period with smarter dump-ins. They forced Chris Osgood into some mistakes. That's the way things turned around. I mentioned that play by Nicholas Lidstrom. You talk about poise, Bob. The Kings had the pressure. They're going. They'll get the puck to be dumped in. Rob Blake will get to the red line. Here's Lidstrom right here. He's going to go back. Now watch him. He gets back. There's pressure. Watch him just look around, hold, protect. Here's the support by Draper. Draper picks it up off the boards, and the Red Wings able to leave the zone. All that done just because of the poise. Veteran defenseman Nicholas Lidstrom.
Red Wings get 2 power play goals. One with a 2-man advantage by Fedorov in the first period, one by Holmstrom in the second period, and the Kings get a goal from Robitaille, his second of the series, from Stumple and Karlati in the third. They had other great chances. Chartrand right in front of Osgood, and he got stopped. Osgood made the saves when he had to tonight.
He certainly did that 2-pad slide on Brad Chartrand. LaPerriere made the pass. Final stats in tonight's game. You see the shots on goal in favor of the Red Wings. Scoring chances by the end of the game, dead even. The big difference, we have it marked right there, 2 for 6 on the power play. The Kings really unable to get into the zone on the power play. It was a hard-fought game. There was a lot of tempo, a lot of speed. The Red Wings are a poised team. We talked about unnecessary penalties that killed the Kings in the first 2 periods. The Kings turned things around in the third. Smarter dump-ins. It's one of the most simple parts of the game. They got the puck in deep.
The Kings have now lost 11 straight playoff games. They have not won since Game 1 of the finals of '93. The NHL record for most playoff consecutive losses, the Chicago Blackhawks with 16.
Well, credit Luc Robitaille, Bob, with a quick release on that goal he scored. He hung out high, came in low again. I mentioned the play of the Kings' fourth line. I thought a lot of energy. LaPerriere, Chartrand, Jason Blake, they kept the puck moving. The Red Wings did a pretty good job again neutralizing Rob Blake. Rob Blake had close coverage at all times. The winger on the Detroit Red Wings had one thing in mind when Blake was on the ice: make sure Blake doesn't get speed to get involved offensively.
Well, the Kings now have to win 4 straight to win this series from the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings 2-1, the winners here tonight at Staples Center. For Jim Fox, this is Bob Miller saying so long from Staples Center, where the final score is the Detroit Red Wings 2, the Los Angeles Kings 1. Join us again at Staples Center this Wednesday beginning at 6:30 with Break the Ice when the Kings take on the Red Wings in Game 4 of this Western Conference quarterfinals. You've been watching Kings hockey on Fox Sports Net. Stay tuned now for the National Sports Report coming up next. Good night, everybody.